Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome to the new world.
The new world order.
Yeah. I mean, we had it for 4 years, so
Yeah, right. The old new world. The new
yeah, the
old
old
world.
new world order that like, was new but is now old. Now it's
Right.
back again.
Yeah, right. Do the thing again. Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny though, isn't it? Do you know what
No.
made me laugh? Yeah. So I was watching UK news, and I think it was Channel 4 or Channel 5. It's one of them two, and it was covering it, and it was like, and a disastrous day in American politics, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even like Trump, but it's that kind of biasness that makes me like stick up for him
That's
because of
exactly what it is.
yeah,
And it feels weird because this time, obviously, I voted for him, and so like I'm a part of it now. Whereas before, I was like one of those people like I fucking hate him, man.
So what did you do last election?
I voted Libertarian.
Oh, so you did the third.
Yeah, the third party, and
I think you should do that anyway, just out of principle.
well, and I feel like there was a lot to lose in this one, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so nothing of importance happened yesterday.
Yeah, not much. But yeah, it's funny. Just 1 minute, let me shut this door so
Yeah.
I'm not too loud.
No,
Yeah, so was your state a Trump state?
yeah.
Yeah, I imagine Florida is, isn't it? A red state.
Yeah, it used to be kind of flipping back and forth depending on who was running and whatnot, but it's much more red now. So
That's how you want it, though, isn't it? You don't want a state where it's just constant red or blue. Like,
yeah, exactly. Even exactly like be split up somehow so that way there's a balance,
yeah, that's it.
balance of power.
Mm, it's mad, though. Like I say, it just makes me laugh the biasness against him in the media. It's like, I
It's
think that's
insane.
what lost Kamala is the fact that it was so clear this time. It was so clear this time round that like the media was on their side and like even like streamers and stuff like campaigning for him, but pretending like it was a natural part of their stream, like they're
Yeah,
playing a game and then it's like, oh, did you know, guys, the importance of Latinos voting for Kamala? And it's like, oh yeah, this isn't paid for, is it?
that's perfectly natural. That's how somebody broaches the subject.
Yeah, it was just yeah. So like, I'm not gonna lie. Months ago, I wanted Trump because I thought he might pull he might have a word with Israel and he might have a word with Ukraine and Russia, and that might stop, um, or he might just stop sending stuff over. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Something like that. So I thought, yeah, I want Trump, but then I heard him on Joe Rogan, and I realised he wasn't going to be much different than Biden in those terms. So I would have not voted for anyone. I don't think this out of them two.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know, though, to be honest, like what I'd say this though, because I've not looked into any of the policies either of them done regarding America. Because no offense, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah. Why would you?
I
Right?
only give a fuck about the outer world. You know what I mean? Like,
It's like, why do
so
I care about what Starmer has to say about the UK? Like, I don't give a
yeah,
shit.
exactly. And like, maybe I'll look into maybe how his economic policies might affect American like trade. You know what I mean? So that makes sense for you to look at, but otherwise, it not much makes sense. But yeah, so I think if I was over there, I wouldn't have voted. Like I didn't vote in my election this time around because I just didn't trust either one. And like I could go for a third one, but I did that before, and then so I voted. I usually vote Labour, and then one time I voted Liberal Democrats, and then they fucking teamed up with the Conservatives and started a coalition. So I was like, mate, you've just literally teamed up with the total opposite of what you are.
Right?
Like,
That's weird.
yeah.
That's weird.
So I don't do the third party vote no more because that burnt me. Like that one really burnt me. Like
Yeah.
the only other option is the Green Party, and they're like just some environmental party, And
Same
although
here.
I
Yeah.
agree with a lot of what they say, I just think they're illogical in a lot of other things. So
Yeah, like we have a green party here too. It's like, yeah, I agree. I want to clean the oceans. I want to make sure we're not throwing, literal chemicals into the soil, but I don't believe taxing people to hell is the solution to it. So
Yeah, exactly. Or like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think with parties like that, I don't think they'll get anything through like Congress in your situation, or
exactly.
in mine it'd be Parliament. You know what I mean? So like, I was out with Jeremy Corbyn. I did vote for him in the end, but I wasn't going to vote for him because I just thought there's no way what he wants will get pushed through Parliament. Like, so it's just irrelevant anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. Just a pipe dream kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt compelled to this time. Usually I voted third party since I started voting, but something said I had to change that this time. It was compelling. So.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I mean, like I said, I don't know what policies will affect you and your kind of community or whatever.
Mm.
So, I always think that's what you go off really, is what's the lesser of two evils? If there is a lesser, let me go for that one. Like in my country, I didn't think there was a lesser of two evils. I thought, actually, I thought the Tories was the lesser of two evils, but I'll never vote for Tories. And the only reason I thought Tories were lesser of two evils is because I believe Keir Starmer's a Tory, and I think he's literally in Labour to make sure that we don't ever vote for Labour ever again. Like, that's what I think.
He's like an industry plant, like designed to make Labour look so bad.
Yeah. But I kind of think Joe Biden might have been that, like, in a sense, like, because I just, how are you going to trust Liberal Democrats again? Like, in your country, I'm not talking about my ones, talking about your ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just how can you trust them again? You know what I mean? It's like, at least Trump both times got elected through a fair process, and it wasn't just, oh yeah, this guy's taking the lead now. Whereas with Kamala, it wasn't even like voted for. Like, I get it, she's the vice president, so maybe she's closer to Biden, but no one voted for her. So like, I could understand no one wanting to do that, to vote for her and not trusting him again. Like, literally, yeah, if I was American Lib Dem, like I'm a UK Labour guy, so in the lead up to my election, I was telling all Labour people, don't vote for Keir Starmer. Like, it will literally do the party better to not vote for him. I believe that for her. Like, that's what I thought for her. Like, the same thing.
Yeah. She's, yeah. Credit to her. She bowed out and said Trump won fair and square today. So she didn't fight it. She didn't try to claim fraud or craziness. So fair play to her for that. Cheers.
I think she backed herself. Well, not herself, but I think her party and her politics kind of painted themselves into that corner, because when Trump wouldn't accept it last time, they were quick to make out he was crazy and everything. So they had to just accept no matter what. Now, otherwise you get branded the same as him, which
for sure, for 100% for sure. So no, but I mean, I had a good day yesterday. I had a good day this morning. So
no, nice.
How was your day yesterday? I know fireworks and you have a long night.
It's horrible. It's actually horrible, to be honest, bro. Like, right at the back of mine, there was a bonfire. Like, I'm not complaining about this because it was my neighbours. Don't mind it. But there's just the constant fireworks going off, and then it was just constant from like 3 p.m. till about 2 a.m. till about around this time. And yeah, they're so loud, and yeah, when you've got tinnitus or tinnitus, it's just not nice, man. Like, I've been recovering all day. I've literally been in bed all day.
Yeah, I can imagine. Very raucous. Even whenever you were sending me the voice message, I could hear the fireworks and stuff in the background. So
that's it. And I was trying to time that in the quieter moments. So as you can imagine, what it was like in the loud moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just crazy though. Like, people go too far, man. Like riots happen on bonfire night and stuff like that. And then I was a kid too, so I used to do stuff like this as well. But like, I know it sounds proper naughty, but we used to like throw fireworks into the chippies and stuff like that, like like shops and stuff. Which, when you think about it, is proper dangerous.
Right.
But, yeah, like on my estate, I don't know if it's still a thing because I don't go out. There used to be a tradition where the older kids will rob a car and then set it on fire in the park,
Oh,
and like that was our bonfire. You know what I mean? So it always gets crazy on bonfire night. I think the fact that it's a holiday against rebellion kind of makes people rebel a lot.
Want to
more.
rebel more, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. That is so cool.
Yeah. So
I just thought it was
it's
funny
scary.
this year because it aligned perfectly with the election. So I was like,
Well, yeah.
the contrast is so great.
Well, the fireworks kept going. I imagine there's a lot of Trump fans celebrating because they kept going. Like, they're still going today. Like, you might hear the odd one go while we're doing this. Because, yeah, I think there were some Trump fans out there because, yeah, they've been going still all day today. So, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine.
Sometimes.
I mean, the Declaration of Victory was really early in the morning my time. So that would have been,
Yeah.
like 7, 8 a.m. your time, maybe 9
Yeah.
a.m.
I don't even know when it was. I come downstairs for my tea. Sorry, my nose is all blocked. And come downstairs for my tea and then looked at the news and I was like, oh, so has he won? And my mum was there. She was like, yeah. She's conceded defeat. I was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, was it a landslide then? Because I expected us to be sat here still not knowing the result right now. I thought like it'd still be getting counted and stuff. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it must have been a landslide, man.
It was fairly lopsided, yeah.
Yeah.
So
which is ironic because no one was predicting that, were they? Like I said it to my ex because I'm still talking to my ex, and she was very pro Kamala because she's mixed race, like black, like Kamala, like. So she was very pro Kamala, and I said to her, I said, to be honest, I do a podcast with an American guy. I said, judging just off that little section of people that I see from America and I talk to, so he's going to win by a big percentage. Like, and she was like, no, I just can't see it. But I was like, no, honestly, the media might say one thing, but if you actually talk to people in America, it's not as like, swaying towards her.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that map, but that's all the red is what Trump won.
So he's gray undecided.
Gray is that hasn't been officially declared yet.
Yeah, that is a big sweep, man.
Yeah, and you see all the ones with the stripes. Those are states that he won this time that he lost last time.
Oh, that's cool. So he's managed to get some state. So they were typically red states before him, and he lost them to Hillary and then regained them now.
Yeah, we call them swing states. So like it's like Florida, they go back and forth. Yeah. Like it just depends on the candidate. But yeah, he picked up. It was a pretty big landslide in my opinion. I mean, he won the popular vote, which Republicans don't usually win the popular vote. Yeah. So he won the popular vote and the electoral college. So like, there's nothing they can say that.
Well, that's it. Yeah, because I remember that last time he won it on the electoral college, I think, and I remember a lot of people saying, "Well, that's not the actual proper vote. Like that's not the people." Mm-hmm. So now he's got the people's vote and the electoral. So it's pretty hard to go against. Yeah. I just hope he. I just hope he can do his job now. You know what I mean? And like. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with everything he wants to do, obviously, but I just hope he has a better time now at actually trying to implement what he wants to do, rather than it be a constant fight. Because I don't know if it was that way with Biden and Kamala, but it didn't seem like there was always a big fight. Like it seemed like they just got stuff through, whatever they wanted. But
yeah, it's because they didn't really do anything, so it was easy to get stuff through because it wasn't really like substantial. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, I tweeted it this morning. Like, I just hope he follows through on a lot of the promises that he made, which is the only reason myself and a bunch of other libertarians voted for him, is because he made a lot of promises. Yeah. And so we'll see. I mean, I don't want that to be the focus of what we're talking about, but we'll see kind of a thing.
News in it, and like obviously it's been on my mind quite a bit because America's like a powerful nation, so whatever you guys decide could change the world a bit. So, It's not like my country's election where it doesn't really affect much, you know, like where like the election in the US, China, Russia, like they're ones you want to kind of think about, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if there's elections in Russia, like, but you know what I'm saying? Like the leadership changes, shall we say? Like they're stuff you want to pay attention to those ones because they're like big populous nations and make a big difference to what we do and see. But yeah, I can't remember. I was going to say something, but I lost train of thought. But
No.
yeah,
Yeah, I just, you know, with obviously Trump, there comes a lot of promises to, like, with Ukraine, like trying to end that conflict with Russia, like you were saying, like
yeah,
that whole that's a big thing. That's an international
that one
consequence.
as well. That one you can see a possibility in that one as well, can't you? Because I know people try and say, oh, you know, him being close to Putin's apparently a bad thing, but I never understood that. Why him trying to be close with your worst enemies, trying
Mhm.
to um, open up like a way of speaking to him and stuff like that. I never saw that as a problem. Like, I always thought, well, that surely can be good if they can start getting along and they can like it eases tensions. And
Mhm.
no coincidence that this Ukraine Russia stuff didn't break out until after his term.
100%. Yeah, and I think, you know, it's the age old thing. It's keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Like you want to know exactly what the other side is doing, what they're
Yeah,
thinking. So you want to be as close to them as you can without, you know,
with
letting
Russia
them.
as well. When we're talking close, like you guys are so close to each other, like in terms of proximity as well. So it
Right
makes
with
a lot of
the
sense to try and open up a thingy with yous. And yeah, it's just like I say, it's all intriguing. Like the first time round when he won it last time, I was like, oh, what, you know, I was condemning him and all stuff like that, and I still believe in a lot of stuff that I thought last time about him. But at the end of the day,
Mhm.
he just seems more open. Like, and sometimes you might not like what he's saying, but at least it's you know what he's
You
saying.
know
You
exactly
know
what
what
he's gonna.
he's
Yeah, he's
yeah,
not hiding anything.
yeah, exactly. And like that might be bad for you guys as a country. I think you know for tensions and stuff like that because he does stir up a lot of bloody tensions between different groups and stuff. But I think that's way better than what you've just had, which is a typical politician where you don't know anything what they're doing, you don't know what the truth is, you don't know because the media is so like on their side, and you just don't know if the media is just hiding something or stuff like that. Whereas with Trump, because the media are quite against it,
Mhm.
like we're going to actually have quite an open presidential term again, where we're going to know exactly what he's trying to do and what he's not trying to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, and especially, you know, he's the kind of guy who loves the cameras, so he does press conferences like every day, whereas Biden did one like once a year. So
Yeah,
like we're gonna know, you know, and I think the more open that you can make the politicians, the more accountable you can hold them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. And like, for entertainment purposes, I'm looking forward to being back, like doing all the press conferences and stuff because
yeah,
it was so hilarious. I actually started to like him last term when it comes to towards the end when like he knew it was coming towards the end and he probably wasn't going to get voted in again, and he knew that just everything was against him, so he kind of just lent into it, and I started to like him a bit because I thought, you know what, I like that defiance, and I just like the fact that he just said stuff that just would never be said in that kind of environment, and it was just refreshing. Like it was weird but refreshing, you know.
yeah. I mean, like I said, like you know what he's gonna do, and you can hold him to that. And he's the kind of guy that his ego is so big, he's gonna tell you and what he's gonna do. He's gonna
Yeah,
tell you, you know, who he is. So like you said, it is refreshing because we've had 4 pretty rough years here, and he in my opinion he has kind of toned down a lot of the crazy, as I think probably because he's already been there, he's lost, he's kind of seen it from the outside. Like a lot of the big crazy talk has been toned down quite a bit.
yeah.
um, I don't know if you can see that from overseas, but
No, yeah, it's pretty apparent. Like because let's be honest, he was generating headlines like multiple a day when last two times he was campaigning Whereas this time round, he's not really done that. And I don't know if that's purposeful of the media to just be like, well, let's not just get baited into, you know, getting outraged at everything he says, because that probably helps him.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's played a part of it, but
That's
no,
a fair
to be honest,
shout. Yeah, it could be.
I've not seen much of it though. I've not seen, because I would hear it. I would, because I listen to Joe Rogan every now and then, and like MMA is like massive with Trump. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially out in America, like the majority of MMA fans, MMA fighters are Trump voters and very open about that. So I get to see a lot of news about Trump, and yeah, I've not seen much outlandish like this time around. It's more his supporters that have been outlandish, you know.
Yeah, always.
Like, yeah, like that Tony Hinchcliffe situation. I think it was last week. Like, just unnecessary. Like, we know a lot of people think that kind of stuff, but you don't need to outright kind of say it. And
it was a
lean into
joke. He's a comedian making a joke.
Nah. See, I don't believe that. I believe he thought he was catering to the crowd, and he realized. Yeah, but he realized because it bombed, right? So it just, I thought it played a lot into the mindset of what Tony Hinchcliffe thinks of Trump fans, and he's also a Trump fan too. Like, I do. Like, I don't think it was a coincidence that he was at a Trump rally, and I've seen Tony Hinchcliffe before. He's not always racial, like, but I found it funny how he was very racial this time, like how he chose to lean into the racial stuff. Like, and again, we talk about funny with Tony Hinchcliffe. He's not funny. He's never has been funny. He's just mean. He's a male who's Republican, so he's a closeted gay man who's terrified of coming out of the closet. So he's mean to everyone else because he hates who he is as a person, and he thinks that all his friends will hate it too. But the truth is, him and Joe Rogan can do what they want behind closed doors.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I in my rabbit hole of Tom Aspinall stuff. He was talking about Dana White and John Jones behind a closed door. He's like, I don't think either one of them are coming out. Whatever.
And he was like, who do you think walks out of a room, you, Dana, or John? And he said, oh, it depends what they're doing in that room. Oh yeah, but to be honest, like with Tony Hinchcliffe, like again, I don't like the whole it's a joke defense, because when you look at his style of comedy, like he never jokes. Like he doesn't tell jokes. He just says mean things. Like literally, if you watch his what's it called, Kill Tony, that show, it's just like, have you ever seen a real comedian go on Kill Tony?
I've never seen it, so I'm not.
No. Yeah. Like when Bill Burr, or like there was a guy on it, I can't remember his name, but he used to work a lot with Norm Macdonald back in the day. Like when those guys go on it, like all these roasters and all these fake comedians that have a minute to be mean about something, they can't swim when there's an actual comedian on there. Like they drown in them deep waters that the comedians put them in. And it's the same with Tony. Like Tony's never had a special on Netflix. He's never had a special on any platform. No one's paid for him to have a special because he can't write a joke. He don't know. So
is he like a roaster? Like what? I don't really know him that well. I mean, to be fair, I just looked up what Kill Tony was, and I've seen clips of that before, where like comedians will come up and tell their jokes, and then the panel kind of like makes fun of them or whatever the case may be. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so he got famous essentially from, remember Comedy Central when they used to do the roast things? Mm-hmm. Donald Trump was one of them. Charlie Sheen, Justin Bieber, like so essentially he was on that as a writer, and then he become a roaster essentially. So it's like Jeff Ross, but if Jeff Ross had the mind of a teenage girl.
I don't like Jeff Ross though, so
no, that's what I'm saying. So if you imagine Jeff Ross, and then imagine it's a drag queen doing it, because I don't know if you ever watched drag queen shows. Like my ex used to be big on drag queen shows. Like it's just all mean spirited. Like they all just take the mick out of how each other look and makeup and stuff like that. like Tony Hinchcliffe is essentially that. I don't think he's realised this because he's too. Oh, actually, I reckon he does watch drag queens a lot in his spare time, so he probably has realised it, but he probably don't want to acknowledge it. Like, so yeah, that is essentially what he is. He's essentially someone that would struggle on RuPaul's Drag Race because he's not as mean as the drag queens and he's not as clever as drag queens at being mean, but like because he's in this space, this Republican kind of space where there is no drag queens, like he kind of is unique because they're not around teenage girls very often. So when it's very unique hearing a teenage girl be very mean and very cutting, like to Republican crowds, because it's something they're just not around, you know.
So let me ask you this: when did your passion against Tony Hinchcliffe start?
Probably about when I don't know when he roasted Justin Bieber, to be honest, like because Justin Bieber was a teenager, and I just kind of thought like. I've just never been a fan of roast comedies. So you can ask me when I wasn't a fan of Jeff Ross, and I'll say the first time I saw him. You know what I mean? Same with Tony Hinchcliffe. Like the first time I watched him, I was like, this isn't comedy. This is a teenage girl being mean to her other friends. You know, like you can literally go to a high school
and see that kind of.
This is what you hear. You know what I mean?
So would you put your disdain for him on the same level as like a Tom Segura?
Yeah, he's worse because Tom Segura actually can make jokes. You know, like I've actually seen Tom Segura actually craft a joke and like actually set up a premise and then come away from that premise and then come back to it to surprise you with it, like stuff like that. Whereas Tony's, it's very like, so his joke was a floating island. Like it doesn't take a genius to like. Oh, but just any country's name, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm pretty sure like that's not an original joke from him. I'm pretty sure because there's been a floating island of trash out there for generations, haven't they? So I reckon that was just a Twitter joke that he's probably took down and took on for himself. Like it's nothing to do. Why I dislike Tony Hinchcliffe is nothing to do with him supporting Trump. It's just his style, and like. It probably cost Trump, like him doing that. And in fact, I watched Trump after it say he didn't know who Tony was and he regretted having him do that. So I'm very happy that happened because now Tony's idol is treating Tony how Tony treats everyone. Is just forgetting him and discarding him and you're just trash kind of thing. So yeah, I find that funny.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I thought it was funny. Yeah, it reminded me of. Like Colby Covington, when Colby Covington was trying to be all buddy with Trump, and Trump was like,
Trump just kept like putting him to the side. Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
I saw that. Who was it? There's 3 fighters I saw with Trump at the weekend. Kamaru as well, and there's 2 others all at the same time. And the amount of people that were surprised that Kamaru was voting Trump, like, and were just attacking him in his comments, like, it was funny, man.
I mean, why would you not? Like, I think it's. I said this. It was a Darren Till comment. I don't remember. He had said something about, or somebody had said something about. All UFC fighters are voting for Trump because it was a Michael Chandler post. He had voted he posted that he was going to vote for Trump, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody had mentioned in the comments that, it looks like all the American UFC fighters are voting for Trump. And then fucking Darren Till out of absolutely nowhere comes in and he's like, yeah, because they're not soy boys. So he said fucking comment. I'm like, Darren Till? Like, isn't he a fucking like one of them socialist UK weirdo guys, Like,
nah. Like Till's full on Andrew Tate, isn't he? Like,
oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's all in that kind of sphere. So Till's not like a Paddy Pimblett fake socialist scouser. Like Till. That's why Till's quite liked in England, because Till is just Darren Till. Like his personality isn't based off Liverpool. You know what I mean? Like he's lived in Brazil and stuff. Like he's seen the world outside of Liverpool. So yeah, he's a bit different. But Yeah, I do like Till. I actually think of all fighters, Till's probably the one that's most likely that we could debate into an actual conversation. Like, I don't know if you've seen, but he's been on MMA Guru's channel and stuff, and he's just been like, just you can tell he's coked out of his mind, and he doesn't deny it because MMA Guru is very much like me. Like, if he sees that you're coked out of your mind, he's gonna joke about you being coked out of your mind. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I can see Till actually giving us the time of day one time, and it will be because we take the piss out of him. It won't be because we're sucking him off and we're like, oh, he's so great, like his left hook's the best in the world. It'll be more so because we're like, yeah, he can't wrestle and he's a pussy, like, and he'll be like, yeah, fuck you guys, but at least you got the balls to say this. You know what I mean?
No, I thought it was funny because it made me think of the whole Patty thing that we were talking about, but it also made me think of you, and I just wanted to get you because I don't know how you feel about Till.
Yeah,
he seems to be polarizing
right.
because he talks a lot and isn't that great. So
Yeah. That's the thing. Like Till's kind of like Paddy in the sense of he's really good at like triggering people, like but Till's like next level with it. Like Till just he just gets coked up and just goes on Twitter and just goes at everything and anything. Like it's kind of sad because he's admitted it's like it comes from depression. You know what I mean? It comes from having time on his hand and just him being pissed off with the world and just wanting to express that. And I understand that. You know, I look at my Twitter, you'll probably see when I'm in that mindset as well. But yeah, he's just a funny guy, though. Like, and he's so opinionated. Like, he's just always going to be like controversial. So I've learned that I'm probably going to disagree with a lot he says, but
enjoy the ride.
He says it. Yeah, he says it. So he's not afraid to say what he thinks, and I prefer those kind of people. Even if I don't agree with it, I'm always like, well, at least I know what they're thinking, rather than just being stuck like not knowing. Like I always talk about fucking psychopaths and shit. Like you can't call Till a psychopath. Like you know what I mean?
He's out there, man. He doesn't hide anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like maybe in other senses, but not in like the sense that we were talking about.
No, that's. I just thought it was interesting, and I wanted to bring it up and catch your opinion on that. So.
Yeah, and I don't know how that works. Like, I would guess Scousers wouldn't like Trump because he's like Republican, and I'd say the Liberal Dem come across as more socialist. Like they try and come across as more socialistic. Like,
that's how I see him from the outside.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think under Obama, they came across a lot more socialistic with the Obamacare and all that. You know what I mean? So, like, I reckon the Scousers probably lean more towards that, like say in Manchester as well. But I don't know though with Trump being so business heavy. I don't know. I think like a lot of Mancunians will lean towards him.
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen how the next 4 years are going to be, but I do know. I feel it would be significantly worse if it was a continuation of the last 4 years.
Yes.
Because my bank account is hurting, man.
I can imagine, yeah. And yeah, I could think that as well. Like, if the same party had another 4 years, God knows what the world would look like, And the fact that it could be the same party having another 8 years in that instance, because she could have 2 terms, you know what I mean? So it could almost
yeah. God.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, kind of disaster averted. Do you think they'll keep her on as a leader, or do you think this was too much?
She was the most unpopular vice president of all time.
That's crazy.
So I think she's gone. I don't think she's going to do anything.
While she was vice president, there was like a vote that declared that.
Yeah, because like they do like confidence polls. Like how good is this person at their job or whatever, and she was rated the lowest out of everybody they've ever.
That's crazy. What's ironic as well, you'd think Biden was probably one of the highest. Like.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's ironic that his vice president becomes the least popular. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the biggest sign of why let her take his place? Like, you had all the numbers there to tell you she ain't gonna win. So,
And that was the craziest part is, they obviously had the numbers, but all the media, all you saw was Kamala's going to sweep. Kamala's got, all the momentum, and she's leading in all the polls. Like, it's crazy. Like, just be honest. Like, if your candidate sucks, just be honest. And like, how can you fix it? How can she work with him? And, whatever. I mean, there's ways out of shitty situations. Don't pile on a shitty situation. Now you've backed yourself into a corner where we got our asses kicked, but we thought we were going to win. Like, just be honest.
The only thing I can think of is maybe they were trying to bait the usual no voters into rushing out and voting for her, but suggesting that she's winning isn't going to do that, is it?
It's not. People are going to stay home.
Stay at home.
They don't need me.
Yeah, like, whoever strategized for them really messed up. Every part of this election really messed up. Like, letting Joe actually do the first part of it was stupid. Like, they should have just, like, you can tell, like, they let him do the first part of it so she could take over and not have to get elected into it. So just everything about it just seemed just
half-assed and backwards.
Yeah. And like, one rule for them, but like, if Trump's vice president, let's say Trump has health issues through this term, I know he can't run for a second term a third term, but let's just say for some reason he can run for a third term by the end of it, and he has health complications, and then his vice president takes his place. Like, it just wouldn't make sense. Like, no one's voting for his vice president. Like,
I don't know. I think that could probably be what happens in 4 years, though.
Yeah, he's not young.
Yeah, he's my age, like 30s, mid to late 30s. So,
who is this we're talking about?
Trump's vice president.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Trump. I was like,
oh no. I'm saying that could happen, like where you have the same party in power for the next 12 years potentially.
Wait, so Trump's vice president could be the first of our generation that's a world leader. Like, that could be the first one of our whole generation. That's pretty epic to think about. Like,
yeah, so well, in the West, I'm sure there's other countries that.
Yeah, probably got young leaders. Like, what's his name?
J.D. Vance.
Oh yeah, I've seen that bandied about. I thought it was a rapper. I'm not even joking. I actually did. Like, it sounds like a rapper name, doesn't it? J.D. Vance. Like.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Whenever I first heard about him, I'm like, who is this guy, and why did Trump pick him? Like, I don't know. But he grew on me, and I think that was ultimately what a lot of people voted because of Vance instead of Trump, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, especially when you look at the last guy that got elected. Like, he wasn't ending his term making the decisions. It was pretty clear it was his VP, so you kind of want to do that again, given how old they are. I mean, this should be a clear sign that you need to stop letting these old people run now. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah.
There needs to be like an age limit, because, again, Trump could die in office, and I'm not even saying that to be disrespectful or anything. Just being logical. It's very logical that he might die in the next 4 years, like, given his age. Like, it's silly, really. It really is.
And I mean, I'm not saying, put a bunch of 20-year-olds in there, but
no,
like, come on, man.
Like 50, like 40, 50, 60, like, we don't need 70, 80. Like, that's when it's getting a bit like care home style.
Yeah, elderly abuse, like.
yeah, like, that is what's just happened to Biden. Like, he's just been abused for 4 years. Like, he's just been prodded and poked and pushed about, and like, he has uppers to get him going, and he has downers to shut him up, and then that's it. Like, he was just a fucking literal sack of meat being sent around to places.
Yep. Just a puppet on a string.
Yeah, it was horrible to see, bro. It was very dystopian, like, because you'd hear stuff like this, like, oh yeah, the president doesn't run the country, it's people behind him, but then Biden's presidency really
just showed you, right? Like,
it really highlighted that they don't actually need an actual functioning president. Like, they can have a cabbage and it'll do a job, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah. So on to MMA news.
Yeah.
Something epic might happen, which I've dreamed of happening since this news has been announced. Charles Oliveira has pulled out of the Michael Chandler fight with 10 days to go.
Has he really?
Honestly, yeah. I'm
No
so
way.
happy.
How did I miss that?
I don't know. I was going to tag you, but I just, when there's big news, I just assume, oh, it'll be on his timeline. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was all over yesterday. Dustin Poirier says he will take it.
It says not in jeopardy.
Oh, well, I don't know, man.
Replace.
Maybe it's changed since I saw, but yeah, last I saw, he's pulled out.
Chandler pulling out on Twitter.
Well, that'd be fun.
That's all that I said. Rumors are that Chandler is pulling out.
I'm confused, man. Let me have a little Twitter search myself as well.
Dustin Poirier said, "Is Charles really out versus Muscle Milk Mike?"
Yeah, that's how, because Dustin Poirier is saying he's up for taking the fight. Excuse me.
Hearing the rumors fake, maybe.
Mike Chandler has actually been tweeting.
Yeah, so that's where we need to go.
Ago. Yeah, he doesn't seem to have said that.
10 days to UFC 309. I mean, he's right here warming up.
Yeah, but you know Michael Chandler, he's a fucking control freak, you know. Like he was convincing us he was still fighting Conor, like, and we all knew like a year ago he wasn't, and he was adamant it was still happening. Yeah, I can't find it now. It must have just been a shit rumor. Oh, I was so happy about that.
No, I mean, even Poirier commented on it.
Yeah. I reckon, look at his tweet I just saw. I reckon Michael Chandler could breastfeed a newborn with his milky tits. Like, I don't get the milky thing. Like, why is everyone calling him Milky all of a sudden?
I don't know. I even saw that Muscle Milk Mike. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Badger milk. What the fuck?
It's weird, isn't it? He does look like he's been on some juice, though, in that time off. Like, he looks unnaturally ripped. I know he's always been ripped.
Incredible, yeah.
But that doesn't look natural. I reckon the UFC told him, like they told Conor, and said, just kind of pull out the testing pool because you're not going to fight for a year. Do what you want to do, and then you and Conor can then fight fucking all roided up. Like, I mean, imagine Michael Chandler roided up fighting. Actually, he does fight like a roid. Like, it is a roid rage. His
aggression,
fight, So, yeah, like, no logic, just pure aggression, just no.
We should have a fight league where, like, steroids are mandatory. Like, you have to take steroids.
Nah, I'd actually be up for it because, let's be honest, right, without being harsh, they're not exactly world-class athletes, the majority of MMA fighters. So, I imagine most of them wouldn't mind doing that. Like, because I don't think they have that pride of, like, let's just say basketball player, football player, American football player. I think they have that pride of, I want to be the best. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, John Jones is a great example of this. Everyone says John Jones is some athletic freak. He's not. He's the least athletic in his family. Like, he's the athletic runt of his family. Like, if he was an athletic, world-class athlete, he'd be doing what his two brothers were doing. Like, he wouldn't be in MMA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, he did wrestling while they were playing football.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, you know, I think that is the best argument for that. Of they're not world-class athletes. They're great athletes, don't get me wrong, and it's a great sport and all that. And it's something that most people couldn't do. But I don't think like they're at that Michael Jordan, Messi, Ronaldo kind of freakish level. You know what I mean? Like, even John Jones. So I think, yeah, because they don't have that pride like this thing used to have, where it's like, I want to win based on my own talent. Just do steroid leagues, and then we can have like a proper league, a man's league. Like, you know what? That's what the BMF should be saved for. Yeah, is for the ones that don't take the steroids. Like Michael Bisping is the reigning BMF because
He
that's
tried
what
to fight clean and be clean, and he took that fight with Vitor, even though Vitor was on the juice.
Yeah, and
obviously ruined his life and took an eye from him, but
yeah, it's mad, isn't it? But it's the risk he took because he's an actual, he's an actual dude, But yeah, so that's what we should do.
yeah, no,
save that for the non-steroid users. Do a steroid league, and then you can have bring Masvidal back, bring Kobe back. Like it'll be awesome.
Just juice them all up, put them in the cage.
I imagine how fat Taito Avasa would get if he had steroids.
No, okay.
He'll just pump himself with steroids but never go to the gym, so he's got loads of water.
He'd still be shit.
Yeah, there's just loads of water weight hanging off him.
Yeah, somebody actually they posted their top 15 MMA fighters in each division or whatever, and he had Tuivasa at like 12. And I commented, I was like, I can't take any list that has Tai Tuivasa still ranked seriously.
No, the sad thing is though, I think he is actually
yes, he is.
That's what's mad.
Yes, Tai Tuivasa is garbage.
There was a heavyweight fight on the last card. I just saw it as I was flicking through the TV because I didn't want to watch it.
No.
I think United were playing, so I was flicking through the sports channels. And mate, these two heavyweights in the last card, I wish I got the names. They looked so fucking just normal, just normal human beings.
Is that I think you posted that, right? You were like,
I might have done.
Somebody posted a picture of the heavyweight. Like, how can this be something? And you're like, well, let's be honest, they're not exactly world-class athletes.
Yeah, I probably did then, yeah. Because,
I might have tweeted that. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like something I'd tweet. But no, that's the thing, is they're not world-class athletes, and the heavyweight division really does highlight that when, Tai Tuivasa's top 15, and was actually being considered for a title run, until he fought Cyril Gane,
Just
even Derek
crazy.
Lewis to an extent. I like Derek Lewis, and I think he is a good boxer, but he's only just recently took his fitness seriously to where he actually like an athlete. And part of me thinks, imagine if you did that, because he got trained by George Foreman, Derek Lewis. And I always think, imagine if you took your fitness serious with that training from George Foreman, you could have been an actual boxer, let alone UFC. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's funny, man. But yeah, steroid league.
Steroid league. I am for it.
That would make the Jones and Stipe fight a lot more entertaining. Can
you imagine a juiced up to the freaking gills and coked up John Jones?
Yeah. With a couple of hookers on the sides, a couple of rent boys, as we call them in the UK. Because I don't think he's buying women when he's out cruising the street.
We'd have to have Dana on stage, coked up, presenting them with a big fat steroid belt, just a big bicep on the belt.
Yeah, it's just a massive fucking needle, a big needle.
You don't get a belt, you just get the injector.
Yeah, you get a free steroid course for the rest of the year.
Oh, Jesus.
I have said that for a while, though. I think there's a lot of people that want to see that as well. Because let's be honest, jiu-jitsu is essentially that. Jiu-jitsu is essentially, let's just take steroids and see who's the best. But I'm going off Craig Jones here, so maybe I'm being extra.
Hey, he didn't lose 80 pounds whenever he was sick and then gain it all back in a super short amount of time. That didn't happen.
Are we on about
Gordon Ryan.
Oh.
Are you familiar?
Yeah, I have seen that, yeah.
With him when he lost.
Tell by how he looks, bro. He's aged, he's like a raisin, isn't he? He's he was a grape, and now he's a raisin. He's just done all that stuff to himself.
Yeah, he's horrible cautionary tale of steroid abuse. Like, yeah, dude, you are fucking. He lost like 60 something pounds and then he gained it all back in like a few months. Like, yeah, you're definitely doing something completely natural.
I know, yeah. Like beta blockers and all that shit. I mean, look at Jones. I mean, I think Jones is a good example of that. Like, he's younger than me, I think, John Jones. I think he's like, how old is he? Like 34, 33? And he looks 40. He literally looks like he's 40 years old.
He's 37.
Oh, so he looks his age. I'm being harsh. But for some reason, I always thought he was younger than that, John Jones.
Yeah, he's my age, yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought he was younger than me. Maybe because he was like the youngest champion, so it's just like, oh yeah, it's got to be young.
Still young, right?
Yeah, but I still think though he's aged. Like if you compare his 37 to, let's just say, I don't know, maybe even Stipe's 37. I think Stipe probably looks a lot fresher. But then again, is Stipe 37 now?
He's 42.
Nah,
so he last fought when he was 37.
Yeah. That's a bad comparison because he got starched, but
this heavyweight fight.
God. Maybe it's MMA heavyweights because like boxing heavyweights they last a lot longer, but maybe MMA ones they kind of like it grinds them down a bit quicker. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just the more I keep thinking about this fight, Stipe and Jones, the more I'm just not really looking forward to it.
No, same. Like, part of me wanted that Charles and Chandler fight to not be on it because I don't want anyone to buy that fucking pay-per-view. Like, I don't think it warrants one single buy, and UFC need to see this. And I think like the Charles Oliveira and Chandler fight will sell the majority of the pay-per-views.
Yeah, that'll sell because I mean, fuck Michael Chandler, but he is an action fighter. He's a stupid fighter, but he's an action fighter.
Yeah. And everyone wants to see him get knocked out because no one likes him. You know, like, well, it's not that no one likes him. It's just that everyone's a bit indifferent. Like, they don't have much of an opinion either way because he doesn't really do much to give you an opinion either way. He tries. Like, that's what made me laugh with the Trump stuff, yeah. Like, this is how out of touch Chandler is that he thinks people are triggered by Trump supporters in 2024. Like, even the most against blue-haired, lesbian, like multi-gendered people aren't that arsed anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of just accepted that people are going to vote Trump. And like, it just made me laugh that he thought him doing the MAGA hat and the drinking the cup is going to trigger everyone. And
well, yeah, that I commented on that. I was like, it's because he was like, oh, you know, said something about voting for Trump. I said over half of America voted for Trump, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, like literally. Like more people in America voted for Trump.
Than like it's not some taboo thing. Like you're not like some cool guy. Like
yeah. That's what's funny, isn't it? Like that's what made me laugh when I saw that. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, mate, you're not in some minority. You're not some like making some really mad choice that's gonna piss everyone off. Like you think you're doing. Like,
you're doing what almost everybody else did. Like
literally, you're just going with the popular like decision that everyone else is doing. Like, well done. You weren't doing that 4 years ago when it could have affected you.
Right, when you could have actually had a
stuff. Impact. You know what I mean? Like, that's what annoys me with a lot of the MAGA guys is, where were you 4 years ago? Like, why weren't you so open then? You know what I mean? Like, I get it that it was, like you said, it was a bit taboo and all this, but I thought this is the party of free speech and not giving a fuck. Like, why were you all guarding your speech and giving a fuck? You know,
cancel culture, man. They're afraid of getting canceled. That's what it was.
It doesn't exist, though, does it? Let's be honest. It doesn't. It only exists in a vacuum. Like,
all this trash just only exists in a vacuum, though.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying, like. So, if you look at the outside world, you probably think, like, if you look at media and sports, you probably think not many people are voting Trump. But then if you watch UFC, you probably think everyone's voting Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the vacuum. Like,
that's the bubble that you live in, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, someone could get cancelled in that UFC vacuum, but then they'll be totally fine in like, let's just say, even a PFL vacuum, you know, even a vacuum different to each other. So, it's weird. Like, I think cancelling used to work when Twitter had so much like control, but it doesn't now, does it? So it's kind of hard to do.
No, yeah, for sure. I think it's just a pendulum swing. Like there was a lot of like we had 8 years of, or even 12 years, whatever, of that crazy cancel culture, you know, woke, blah blah blah. But it's kind of coming back to normality. So it doesn't have the same impact. I think people are just tired of it. You know, like to be honest.
It went the opposite way, didn't it? It went all the way to like, we need to cancel people for not respecting flies as a life form. Like, how dare you not respect a mosquito as a life form? And then it swung all the way to a point where people could break into the White House and people were like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? So it literally did. It went from like, oh, we need to be hypersensitive about everything to, oh yeah, we can just break into our country's fucking national home. You know, I don't know what it's called. Like the Parliament building. Like I just So it swung like the total, did a 180, and now like we're at that point again.
Sensibility. I think we're in the middle now. Like you said, it went there, and I think we're coming back to the middle of common sense.
Because that's it. Like now you've got like a Twitch streamer can say I'm voting Trump, and it won't affect him in the slightest. Like saying. But ironically, it might affect them a little bit now with the young generation to saying voting Kamala, like, oh, you soy boy, oh, you this, you that.
Yeah.
So it's like it has kind of got back to that middle bit, and the young generation are kind of taking it and doing their own kind of way of doing it. It's like they're almost rebelling against it in a way, and I do like that from the young generation. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, anytime we can get younger people motivated to have a vested interest, like that's a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah, but I do think that's what helps. Like I know we mostly just talk politics, like so. Apologies if that's not what you think, but like it was a
it won't be going forward, but
But I think that's what won though, was that Trump managed to get a lot of like the streamers and people like that on his side, and I think him focusing on the younger generation. Like really helped him become, you know, with first time voters and stuff like that. I think it really helped him become.
I would imagine so.
That he wanted to vote for, because like if Adin Ross is like, yeah, this is my guy. Like I imagine Adin Ross is like the equivalent of like a Leonardo DiCaprio to like our generation. You know what I mean? Where because he's like this cool guy and he's in all the movies. You're like, yeah, I might listen to what he says. And like, so he has that. He has like all these cool streamers that literally like have all the young generation on tenterhooks. Whereas Kamala kind of ignored that. Or it looked like that anyway.
Yeah, I think she was. I think it felt more natural, like we were talking about at the beginning. Like the people who are voting for Trump or endorsing Trump was like a natural thing, whereas you could tell the people that were supporting Kamala were like paid to do so, like literally reading a script, like
like, oh, let me pause my game, like that's it. Like whereas Trump would go on a stream, like I saw him on like Adin Ross, I think it was Adin Ross's stream. I saw him on that, and I just remember thinking this looks so weird, like him just being sat on this street. But you know what? That's what you want to see. Like you want to see someone that can actually conversate with a young man, that can actually conversate with a different generation that's alien to them. And like that's what I'll give Trump. He's so adaptable in terms of he knows who's in front of him, and he does kind of adapt to them a little bit, and he is quite good at that.
Yeah, I think the Adin Ross thing kind of gave him a big bump, and then obviously right at the end, like a few days before, I'm sure you saw Joe Rogan officially endorsed him. I think that, I mean, I don't think that can be understated. Like Joe Rogan is such a huge voice, and even if you don't agree with everything he says, like he has some influence, on those millions of people that listen to him.
And I think with Joe Rogan, what is especially powerful about him endorsing Trump is that Joe's like a swing state, like if that makes sense. Like Joe will vote Liberal next time if he prefers Liberal. He will vote Republican if he So
yeah, he did so last time.
Like
He
Joe
didn't.
Rogan endorsing Trump did so much because Joe's always that guy who you can tell he's always trying to make his mind up until the last minute, like who he wants, who he doesn't want. And I think like his own podcast swayed himself because it's like, well, if she can't sit down and have a conversation for 3 hours like he could, then there's something off about that. Like he said that a team reached out, Joe only wanted to do an hour, and she wanted Joe to fly to her.
To go, yeah, I saw that.
And doing all that kind of stuff, how weird would it have looked to see Joe Rogan sat in some bloody office in Manhattan? You know what I mean, or wherever she was.
But for an hour, like
it would have looked forced. It would have looked like because that one was an hour and Joe's gone out of his way to go there. No matter what, it would have looked biased. No matter how, like Joe didn't go. Like I liked how Joe questioned Trump a lot, and he kept not letting him divert away from things. He kept bringing it back. Like no, I was asking you about this, and then Trump will go on a tangent, and then he'll bring it back. No, but what about this thing? Like, whereas I think he wouldn't have the time to do that with Kamala, so it'd look very structured, and it just wouldn't look right. Like,
I mean, think about it this way: we've already been on an hour, and we're on one topic still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, you're talking national policy. You're talking about things that are affecting people's lives for the next 4+ years, and you're going to go on for an hour. Like we can't even get through this topic in an hour. It's wild. Like it's insane. And you're trying to be president. And I'm just trying to run a podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's it, and it's that openness as well that Trump showcased from himself. Was like Joe Rogan was asking him about like the JFK stuff. He was asking him about because he's a big conspiracist, Joe Rogan, isn't he? So obviously he got onto stuff like that. I think moon landing maybe and aliens, and just the fact that Trump was willing to say anything about these subjects. Instead of going, oh, it's classified, I can't talk about it. Like he said about JFK that there's still people alive that are involved in the files, so that's why he wasn't able to release it. So I think giving us little nuggets like that, like it just shows that he's willing to at least communicate about something rather than just be like, no, like we're not talking about this thing.
Yeah, I heard him do an interview where people were talking about aliens existing. He's like, I've never seen them, but like,
yeah.
It's weird how he does it. Like he leads into things, but he doesn't give away. Like I don't know, but I feel like he did that with Rogan too. Like he's very, like he diverts the conversation a lot, and because he likes to go off and self-aggrandize and whatnot. But like you said, Joe he's like, the way he describes it is like he can't follow, so he's gonna like rein you back in, and he's gonna ask the question again because he didn't feel like he got an answer.
Exactly, and like that's something like they're not used to as well. Like, and you could see it with Trump as well, where I think Trump took it as a respect thing of like, oh, you've actually got enough balls about you to actually do this. Okay, I respect that. So, I'm still going to divert my question, but I respect it. I'm not going to be all moody with you and stuff. Whereas you could tell Kamala didn't want that,
No.
They didn't want that kind of questioning, that kind of like, but hold on, you've not actually answered the question. You've just like jumped around the subject for a bit, So, yeah, it's funny because who would have thought that Joe Rogan would have been such a decisive figure in an election? Like,
that's weird. Crazy. I don't know, man. I mean, you get the biggest podcast in the world, people start listening to you. So,
yeah, it's true. It's true. Like, when you got a big voice like that, it holds power. Like, what's funny is like, not many people actually take Joe Rogan seriously on a lot of things, but I think that's what kind of helps is the fact that you can tell he's not claiming to be an expert on nothing. He's just saying what he thinks, and the fact that his podcast fact checks him a lot more now. Like Jamie's like constantly fact checking it. Like I think that's helped a lot because you can tell now that he wants to be fact checked, Like, he understands that he can spread false news accidentally, and he doesn't want to be that guy anymore. You know what I mean? So I'll give Joe Rogan that. And you know what? Fair play to him, because we won't be sat here now, would we, if Joe Rogan didn't decide to do what he wanted to do all them years ago with podcasting and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be weird. I mean, it's a weird reality that we could be.
It is, isn't it? Like, who would have thought that guy that was on Fear Factor
making people eat sperm donuts or whatever?
Yeah. I didn't even know, right? I didn't know that the Fear Factor guy and Joe Rogan on UFC was the same person for a long time. I just never made that connection. Like, I just thought, I just thought they were just two separate muscle Italian Americans, or
two different Joe Rogans.
Yeah, like, because he just looks like a typical Italian or Irish kind of person, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just thought they were two different people. Like, I thought he was like a Dana White spawn, because like they look like they're kind of the same, like they all spawned in point and went off on the wrong way, you know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah, I didn't even know that was the same person. So I'd watch UFC, not even know it as the Fear Factor guy. And then I didn't even know that, like, once I put them two things together, I didn't know he was a comedian. Like, so then I discovered he's a comedian. And then I'm like, well, he's not a comedian. He just says statements. Like, you know what I mean? But, so then I'm like, fucking, he's full of mysteries, this guy. Like,
yeah, then you learned, like,
an actor as well, hasn't he? I think as well.
Yeah, he was in a TV show, and then before that, he was a point karate fighter. Like,
yeah, Taekwondo, I think, wasn't it?
Was it Taekwondo?
Yeah, or like
something. It was like interesting. Well, a man of many different talents and a master of none, apparently, or something.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, like, no offense to Joe, but yeah, because although he changed the podcast game, he's not even the best at that, is he, really? Like, as a host and whatever.
He's just sitting around smoking and talking to people.
Just chatting. Yeah.
Just having a talk.
That's it.
Millions of followers. We have 8 people. Hi, 8 people. There's a follow button down below. If you could hit that, that'd be fucking awesome. I appreciate you. We normally talk about MMA and sports and news. The election has us kind of tied up right now, so
yeah, it does. It's hard not to talk about it. I mean, literally, MMA has been so involved with this election this time around as well. So
yeah, with Dana White, being so outspoken and whatnot.
Yeah, and not just that, just the amount of events that Trump goes to, and like the amount of fights where like Trump is like the main talking point or selling point of that fight, like the Colby one. Kamaru, and then Colby and Masvidal were arguing over who's the biggest fan of Trump, so yeah, he's very MMA related.
Yeah, I mean, he offered, the UFC a lot of help apparently when they were fledgling, so
yeah, he hosted them, didn't he? When they got banned, he let them fight in their casino. So yeah, like UFC might not even be about if it wasn't for Trump. So I think it's only right we kind of talk about his victory in a sense, or his
at least for a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. I think we would have spoke about it either way, whether he won or he lost.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
But I think with Trump though, there's just so much to talk about as well. Just as
there always is. Yeah,
because like we tried going off the subject and we started talking about Michael Chandler.
And then it just
brought us back onto the subject because he's like he thinks he's being like cool by being a MAGA guy. Yeah, he thinks he's being like I don't know, like Guy Fawkes or something. Like he's being different.
So some big, rebel.
Yeah, well done, mate. You had a popular decision.
You did what everybody else did.
Yeah.
Good job.
Congratulations. You really pulled yourself up by your bootstraps.
By your own bootstraps.
One day, right? If we had enough time, it's only 10 days away, so we can't really. But for his next fight, we should buy some bootstraps.
I don't even know what those are.
I don't, but we'll find them. We will find them. and we will pull ourselves up by our bootstraps.
You know what? That's a video idea. Let's find some bootstraps.
Yeah.
And try to pull ourselves up.
Yeah.
And it could be, the title is just Becoming Michael Chandler.
Yeah. We'll just do it shirtless, posing like this.
Right, get a red hat.
Yeah, red hat, and like got a like I don't know what else he does. Like, yeah.
I gotta go find a kid to adopt real quick.
Yeah, I gotta go.
2 of them. So.
Yeah, like it's gotta be. Can't be just like a white kid though. It's gotta be something a bit different. Like,
yeah. Just borrow a kid for a little bit.
Like, you know what? I don't judge Mike for that stuff. Like I know.
No, not at all.
There's been a lot about that stuff with MMA Guru. Like he did an impression of Chandler's kids. Like basically just did like an impression of a Black American impression. You know what I mean? African American impression. And Chandler like, you know, went back at Guru for that, which I understand Chandler. Like I don't want to. If I'm ever dissing Chandler and I mention his kids, right? I'm just fucking about. Like I don't want people to think that I think that he's doing some weird thing by doing that. Like
no, I mean kids need parents, and I don't care what color the kids are, they need help. So I said that whenever I first found out about it, and I've said that on the podcast before. I think we both said it. Like
yeah, like there was this weird thing. Like in fact, there might have even been MMA Guru who did the video where it was like a whole video about is Michael Chandler like. I don't even want to say what he was trying to assume because I don't want to get it wrong. But he had all these assumptions about why Michael Chandler was adopting these kids, and I just found it weird. And I just thought, you know, there's a lot I agreed with that video about Michael Chandler and his personality, like obviously. But I just thought I don't want to take it to that level where I think he's that crazy to where he's gonna just adopt kids just to make a point about something, you know what I mean? Like I do think he's crazy, but I don't think he's going to dedicate at least 18 years of his life
just to stick it to a different race or something.
Yeah, and just so if I'm ever fucking chatting shit about Chandler, I don't want you to think I'm on that MMA Guru kind of vibe. I'm not like I just don't like his personality.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't have anything against him, but it's just funny because he's very cringy, and I think that's the biggest thing for me is like
you can tell that he thinks he's like the coolest guy ever, and I think that's what plays into it for me. Is like he reminds me of like that popular kid in school that just walks around or like, and he just thought everything he said was clever and everything that he did was cool, and then there was always a kid like me that would just be like, shut the fuck up. I don't like you. And I might have even liked him, but just because I knew that they thought they were awesome, I had to be that guy who was like, I think you're a dickhead.
Try to put him in his place a little bit, yeah. That's funny. So, I know next week we'll probably get more into like official predictions and stuff, but how do you think that fight's going to go? Do you see it going any different than the first one? Assuming that it's still on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because like, he's not fought for 2 years now. So does he even have it in him to do that first round flurry anymore? Like, if he's not got that first round flurry in him, he's just gonna get fucked up. Like, but I actually think Chandler does have the style to beat Oliveira in that first round. If he manages to get his chaotic madness off. But that's not my prediction. My prediction is Charles round 2, jab KO. Like just the same as last time. Like it's just gonna walk onto something, isn't it?
Yeah, I think most likely. I mean, I could see Chandler is very strong. He's very physically able to catch Oliveira. So, like you said, it would have to be in the first round. So, if Chandler does anything, it will be in the first round. But anything beyond that, I'm going to go Oliveira by submission, however he wants.
Yeah, that's it. I can see a moment happening like in all Charles Oliveira fights where he gets clipped with something, and then he goes down on purpose, try to draw him in. I can see that playing out in the first round, and then everyone's like, "Oh, I told you, Chandler's like got a chance here," but I believe that's a tactic of Charles Oliveira. If you watch all his fights, he does it in every first round when people are still dry. He will something will land, and
no, try to pull guard.
Yeah. And like, if you watch him get back up though, if that fighter takes a step back and they're like, nah, get up, he's fine. He's never wobbly. Like, he's never like getting back up wobbly or shaking. So I genuinely believe that's always been a target. Like, I think when Gaethje dropped him, I think that was a big part of it. I think the same with Chandler. So I can see it looking like Chandler's come out in the first round and dropped him and steamrolled him. But I don't think that will necessarily be the case. Like, you know what I mean? Like, commentary will make it seem that way. But yeah.
Watch the fights on silent, man. That's my recommendation to anybody who's new to the fight game or isn't sure who's winning a fight. Turn off commentary.
Yeah, innit? But yeah, I think as well. It could be perfect timing for Chandler with Oliveira, because Oliveira is like, it's been in with so many fucking beasts. You know what I mean? Just non-stop. Beast after beast after beast. So this could be the breaking point. But I think now that Chandler knows, I think guys like Chandler and Gaethje relied on, I can break Oliveira. Like this whole thing of Oliveira's weak is breakable. And I think now they know this isn't the case. So I think he will break them a lot quicker now. Like, because they know they can't break him. They haven't got that hope of breaking him anymore. Like, they have to beat him in a fight. You know what I mean? So I actually can see Chandler getting broke and fucking sitting on his stool mid-rounds.
Just head down, breathing heavy, knowing he's going to get...
Making a foot injury or something. You know, like... No, I'm being honest. Like, I can see Chandler being that guy. Like... The whole, like O'Malley did when he got beat by fucking Cheeto, is the whole, like, he didn't win, I injured myself. Yeah, that means he injured you to stop you from fighting. He won that fight. Like, he stopped fighting.
It's like the Connor thing when he broke his leg against Poirier.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Doctor stoppage. Like, no, mate. Like, he blocked your kick and broke your leg. He won that fight. If it was on the streets, your head's getting stomped on. You're not walking away. Like, so that's how I look at it. And I can see something like that playing out with Chandler. Like, the whole, like, maybe an eye poke. Like, I can just see him getting a way out and taking it. Like,
just taking the easy way out.
Yeah. And I partly say this because everyone says this about Oliveira and no one's ever right. So everyone that did say this about Oliveira and got beat by Oliveira, now I'm going to say that Oliveira is going to break him the next time he fights him.
Well, I think that'll go back to, that part of his personality that, you dislike so much, is like that need to be in control.
In control, yeah.
So I will be the reason that I lose this fight is because I've, this happened to me.
I chose that. I couldn't see the fingers, so I therefore refused to win the fight. Like, he's like Chael Sonnen, but he actually believes in what he says. Where Chael, like, you could tell Chael was just winding everyone up. It's like when Chael got beat by Anderson the first time, and Chael was like, "Oh, I thought me tapping just meant he won the round, not the whole fight." Like, Chandler will say that and believe it, you know what I mean?
Right. No, Chael's great.
Yeah. Like, that is what, like, Chandler is, like, Chael's persona, but real. Like, the real version of that Chael wrestling gangster persona is what Michael Chandler actually is. Like it's quite funny.
He saw it on TV and thought it was real. That's what he tries to be.
Yeah. Because he saw compilations of people being like, Chael's undefeated and all this. You know how we all talk about Chael being undefeated, never lost a round.
Never lost a round.
Yeah. So Chandler wants us all to speak like that about him. But with Chandler, because we know he's being deadly serious, we just don't want to take him serious. Whereas because Chael wasn't being serious, we will play along with it, you know. So yeah, you know what, Chandler, man, get on to me. Let me be your PR person. I actually do mean this. Like any UFC fighter, yeah, talk to your fans. Like talk to the fans of the sport. Like you guys think that you're so much better than the people that pay your wages and the people that actually want to watch you fight. But we can actually guide your careers. I'm not saying me personally, but we can actually make you more likable. We can make you more relatable. We can make you more like just pop off more in the MMA scene. Like Moicano's a great example of this. Been listening to MMA Guru and look at him taking off. You know,
he's always on there talking about something.
Yeah, like,
but I think
seeing a few fighters that have reached out to MMA Guru and listened to him, like Duplessis one, yeah, he listened to MMA Guru with the Strickland stuff, made Strickland cry. Took advice from MMA Guru with Israel, made Israel cry. Like, we might be just fans, we might not fight, but some of us actually might understand how to navigate that MMA world better than you. Like,
and that's goes back to something we were talking about before, where like, you know, boxing, they have promoters, right? Where UFC, they don't have promoters, so you kind of have to do it yourself. That could be where the fans come in, you know, and get them, you know, like you said, like promote the fights, promote the fighters, and give us a reason to be your fan, you know, because the UFC doesn't do that.
No, it doesn't. And
unless you're a favorite, you know, unless you're Dana White's closet buddy.
Yeah, unless like you're doing them Nina drama buddy interviews, you know what I mean? Like, but again, that doesn't really help much. Like, I watch them interviews because she is quite quirky and she does say strange things to fighters that bring out a different personality of it. But every time I see a fighter go on her show, I always think, oh yeah, so this is gonna be the guy that the UFC want media train now. Like, this is how I look at it. It's like, right, so this is who the UFC are trying to media train. Like, because that is what they want now. They don't want they don't want Sean Strickland's. That's why we're not seeing Sean Strickland get title fights and stuff. Like, it's why we're trying to see that get avoided. Like, they claim they want free speech, but they don't. They want your Sean O'Malley's. They want your, you know, the people that are just going to try and fit in. That's what
the company guys. That's what they want. The company guys.
Exactly.
And that's why I know he's your boy, but Israel Adesanya, that's why he became such a big thing. Yeah. He was the company guy. Like every event, every talking point they wanted, he was right there. Yeah. So he became that star.
But I mean, like, what I will say is, though, he did give back. Like, he fought a lot. Like, even as a champion,
100%. He was a fighting champion,
and he'd fight in short notices and all that stuff. So, like, he was a company man where he actually took advantage of what the company were giving him, and he actually gave a lot back. Whereas your other company men, like your Sean O'Malley, they fight like once a year, and like, you know, like, look, you know who's the best example of this? Bo Nickel. Like, they both start. But Bo and Khamzat started at the same time. Look how often Khamzat has fought, even with all his injuries and everything. And then compare that to Bo Nickel, who fights once a year. And then he's not even fighting up the rankings, whereas Khamzat, it was like, right, quick, let's get him up them rankings. Like, I remember him fighting Leech Jiang like ages ago. And I remember thinking that was a step too far.
He fought at like 180, then went to 175, 180. Yeah. Like, he was bouncing back and forth, going to different weight classes, and
that's it. And then
Khamzat at the beginning, whenever he first burst onto the scene, he was everywhere, man. Like, that guy was.
Yeah. And then wild. You look at him, like, he's not media trained, so he's like, "Alhamdulillah, kill everybody," and, you know, just saying mad stuff, yeah. But like, that's what we want. We don't want a Bo Nickel who's just sat there, like, just talking about his wrestling days, just on repeat, talking about, like, Gordon Ryan and things that just, no offense, but things that only Americans know and care about. Like, we don't want that. Like, we want someone He wants to fight more than once a year because they actually back themselves and they support themselves. And we want someone who actually is being tested as well, like someone who's like, right, yeah, he's a great wrestler, but how will he do against, like, even a Gilbert Burns? You know what I mean? Like something on that level.
Yeah. You know, he's fighting this weekend. No, this week. He's fighting at UFC 309,
He
not
always
this
fights
weekend.
when John Jones. Yeah, I've noticed he always fights when John Jones fights.
So he's actually fighting Paul Craig.
Oh, really? Come on. They call him the Bear Jew, and I don't know why. So
I don't know why either.
Like, if it is, I apologize. But I just want to say, come on, Bear Jew, man. Fucking do it.
I was saying that too. Like, how crazy would it be if Paul Craig took that 0, you know?
Mate, I'd love it. Like, Paul Craig needs to go, like, get all his ancestral paint on. He needs to put the willies in Bo Nickel. Because I know Bo Nickel's defo Scottish. He's defo got Scottish heritage. Like, Scottish or Irish heritage with that hair. So, I reckon, bring out that ancestral fear. Show him what the Scots looked like back in the day. Paint yourself blue. Come out, like, with all your Scottish fucking aggression. But, you know what? We say all this and he'll probably just walk onto a jab, won't he? But, wow, no way is he fighting. No way.
When I saw that, I was like, imagine if he submits Bo Nickel, because Bo Nickel, you know, big wrestling, American wrestling #1, you know.
I know, yeah.
You see the face paint there.
Yeah, I love that face paint when he does that. It is awesome.
But yeah, I mean, whenever I heard that was announced, I was hopeful, because I don't like Bo Nickel. Like, his personality rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah,
he's so
like self-important. He's like Michael Chandler, isn't he? It's very much like Michael Chandler, where it's like, no one will ever beat me. I'm the best. Like, I was the most popular kid in school. Like, everyone loved me in school. Like, people had parties for me when I wrestled. Like, and it's just like, right, I get it. You were the kid that had a nice mum and dad, that had a lot of money, got you into wrestling, and, you know, the coaches liked you in wrestling. So all the football players liked you, and all the cheerleaders liked you because you had cauliflower ears and you could beat up the football players. Like, I get it. You're like a trope. You're a walking trope. Like, I get it. Like, maybe lean away from this a bit, like, because it's not helping. Like, a lot of Americans do that. Like, I don't think they realize this, right? But, you know, like the popular kids in the movies, like in American movies and stuff, the rest of the world don't see that as cool. Like, we laugh at it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I think we laugh at it too, like, though.
No, yeah, but then you get like guys like Bo and Chandler, where you can tell like they base the whole personality off the cool guy from a movie, and it's just like, you guys, not you, because I know you're like not your average like fucking wrestling cauliflower-eared American, but like, it's just like, guys, stop leaning into this. Like, there's only one part of the world that like that kind of personality.
I don't know, man. I don't know if that's true. Because I think it's the weird, like you're saying, it's when you peak early and your popularity and you think you're so cool at such a young age, like you never evolve as a person.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. For me, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. Haven't been a fan. I've never seen the appeal. So if anybody in the comments there or whatever wants to make a case for defending how cool Bo Nickel is, please, by all means, do that.
I mean, yeah, I'd love to see it, because I was saying this a few weeks ago, and like, you even did a video kind of elaborating on it, but I want an American star. I do. Like, I keep saying it. Like, not, you can try with your Sean O'Malley's and your Bo, but like, they won't be an American star because, like Connor, he transcended Ireland. It wasn't just Ireland. The English liked him, the Scottish liked him, the Americans liked him. Whereas with these like Sean O'Malley's and Bo, It's like I can only imagine it's only Americans. I don't know who likes him. Like MMA Guru is now liking Sean O'Malley purely because they collaborate. You know, literally, he never used to like him. Like, so you might see that change now because MMA Guru is kind of glazing for O'Malley. Like, you might see the odd English guy that's younger pretending to like him to fit in, but literally no one likes those kind. Like, the UFC always push the wrong ones, man. They always push the wrong ones.
So I mean, if you had to, if you just off the top of your head, you know, who would you like to see them push?
Well, I can give you an example who would have been good to push, and it probably wouldn't have worked out now we're looking at how the career's gone. But like a Kevin Holland, like, you know, when he was just fighting every week, like when Kamzat was, like that should have been the guy you pushed because he was willing to fight every week. He had a funky style, kung fu. He had a nice, fun personality that's not just likable. It's like polarizing. Whereas Bo and Michael Chandler, it's just unlikable to where you don't even want to go out your way to tell him you're unlikable. Whereas someone like Kevin Holland, you might want to go out your way to tell him you don't like him. You know what I mean? So
no, I think that's a good shout too. But I think
like,
you know, he's not superstar level, but like we love.
That's what I was gonna say. Like
Kevin Holland
listening and being like, "Oh yeah, he thinks Kevin Holland should be the next." No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is he had the right personality style and the willingness to fight in order to receive that kind of stuff and then be built into that. You know, it's like how the UFC are building Paddy Pimblett for the UK market. It's like he fights once a year. Like, only one city likes him. Like, choose someone different. Choose like Lerone Murphy or someone, or, you know, choose someone who's a bit more active and a bit less like actively trying to make themselves hated by the country. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's interesting. You say that rabbit hole I was going down with Aspinall. He was talking about Lerone Murphy and how, you know, he was choosing him against Ige and how, you know, his talent and whatnot. So I that's, you know, an interesting little sidebar that rabbit hole, that Aspinall rabbit hole really got to me.
Oh yeah. If you ask like UFC fighters who the best fighters are in the UK, coming out of the UK, Paddy Pimblett might not even be in the top 10. And I'm not even being offensive to Paddy to say that. It's just like, he's a personality, isn't he? It's not like, so like Aspinall, he's training with Makayev, he's training with Lerone, obviously, because he's from Manchester. He's probably training with Dakota as well. So he'll have that bias as well. But then it's like, but these guys actually win shit. You know what I mean? These guys actually try to fight up the rankings. Like Lerone Murphy straight away was asking for a higher rank. You know what I mean? I know Paddy did in his last fight, but
yeah, but he was the opposite of that at first. If you remember, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll just keep fighting and I won't worry about the ranks till later." Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I know Paddy's looking for someone in the top 15 that's suited to him. Like, I know he isn't looking for a Justin Gaethje or a Fiziev, someone that can strike really well. Like, he'll be looking for someone. He'll only fight a top 15 if it's suited to him.
Yeah.
Whereas, and again, that like is the same with, like, I'm saying about UFC building the wrong guys, because we don't want an O'Malley or a Bo Nickel who are picking and choosing who they're willing to fight, because that's not a fighter, in my opinion. You want like a Leon. Leon's a good example. Accepted fights against Chimaev, accepted fights against Bilal. You know what I mean? Like, just didn't say no to no one. Just like, oh, this is the boogeyman, I'll fight him. Okay, I'm not scared. You know, even when he was unranked, Leon was next in line for a title shot. Chimaev was unranked and he was still willing to fight him. To me, like, that's what I want to see from my superstars.
And one thing that reminded me of is whenever Leon fought Bilal for the first time, nobody wanted to fight Bilal because Bilal was boring. He wasn't a draw. And he's like, I'll fight him.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? You know? Like, I'm undefeated in my last so many fights. I should be next for a title shot, but sure, I'll fight this guy. I don't care.
Yeah. And especially at that time as well, a loss to Bilal for that one would have just been career suicide, because they would have never got a title shot. Like,
because the UFC didn't want to push him. That was weird.
Nah. And that's it. I mean, Leon's a bad example in personality because he doesn't have the personality to be a superstar. But
Yeah, he's very quiet and very humble,
but
very
I think
reserved.
in terms of fighting attitude and like just willingness to fight the best and test himself, like Leon's like a real good example of that. Like Tom is showing all the right signs of just fighting who's next in line, not trying to be like, oh, Pavlovich, no, we're too early in our careers, let's wait, you know what I mean? Like, he's just taking it, and I sound like I'm being very English biased, so I'm trying to think of someone who's less like that, who's like Gaethje is similar, he'll fight anyone, you know what I mean? So, but then again, though, I've seen Gaethje make excuses for not fighting certain people, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with trying to find that diamond in the rough because they're just going to push whoever they want to push and bury who they want to bury, which is why I thought it was really refreshing when Brian Battle came on. He made that big post fight speech and he got all the headlines and whatnot. I'm like, this could be the next guy. If he wins, he could be the next guy. He has the personality, he has the talent, he has a good look, like that, fighter physique, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Like he comes from tough as well, so like there's probably a lot of people that like are invested in him. Like I'm quite invested in Brian Battle because I watched him in Tough, you know what I mean, and he won his season. So like I'm always
a great story. So that's why I was drawn to that. Like after that speech, I'm like, man, yeah, you had mentioned we need an American superstar, and I'm like, we could just find one, like
yeah, because you are right. I mean, similar to is it Talbot? It's Talbot something. He's a young American. He's in Sean O'Malley's weight class, and he's really good. He's like a mixed race guy.
Mm-hmm. Peyton Talbot.
That's it. I thought his first name was Talbot. Yeah, he's another one that he could be a big star for UFC. He's already fought a real tough like guy already in that Cameron Simon.
Fighting somebody soon.
All right. And that's the thing, he's quite active as well. Like he's not exactly like just sitting around all the time.
Yeah, undefeated, 9-0. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I say, like one of his last, it wasn't his last fight. I think it's the fight before it. He fought like Cameron Simon. Mm-hmm. He was a massive prospect coming out of South Africa. So to be willing to fight the other big prospects of your time while you're both prospects.
Yeah.
I always think that stands him in great stead. Even if he lost, it would have been, well, he lost to Cameron Simon. Like he's still got, a lot of chances to come back. But yeah, I think he's one that could be a star, like, because he's so like cool. He's like a cool guy. I don't know if you see much about him, but it's just very cool. Like he skateboards and just does cool shit.
He's only 26, also, so I mean, he's got time to grow into that. That'd be interesting to come back to this episode 5 years in the future and see.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe he might get just absolutely KO'd in his next.
That didn't work
we
out.
Just don't see him again, yeah. Like, but I think from what I can see of this guy, he's a real. You can tell he likes to test himself. I think the fact that with all the skateboarding stuff that he does and all the extreme sports and that, like those guys, I always think they're willing to do shit that most people aren't willing to do. So, I could see him getting beat and not being fazed by it because it's like, him fucking up a trick, breaking his ankle, and then trying that trick again when his ankle recovers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think he's the one. Like, if we're talking young guys, he's the one that should be pushed. Like,
and he came from the Contender Series too.
Pardon?
He came from the Dana White Contender Series, so I mean that's kind of like
it's ideal, yeah.
Perfect for who the UFC should push, but instead they'll still be talking about Bo Nickel or some shit.
Yeah, and like the fact that he's in O'Malley's weight class, I think use the carcass of O'Malley to feed Peyton Talbot, because I honestly, right, I keep watching O'Malley since he lost because I'm very intrigued. I'm very worried for him every time I see him stream, bro, he looks like he's on like mental health drugs. Like, I don't know what they're called out there, but that's the only way I can describe it. He looks like his eyes aren't with it every time I see him stream. He just doesn't look there. And he might be on painkillers because I know he's had surgery recently, but he looks like he's going overboard on it. And I am concerned that this is going to be O'Malley just not coming back. Like, that one loss, I just don't think he can accept it. Like, I don't think he could accept a loss anyway, as we saw. But he had like deniabilities with the Cheeto one. Like, oh yeah, was it like? Whereas this one, there's no way of getting around it. You lost, you got dominated, and I think it is affecting him.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be. I did see a rumor that he was going to be rematching in early next year, but that was just a rumor. So I'm not sure if that was going to come to fruition or not. But apparently, from what the article I read, after his surgery, he's healed up, he's getting a rematch.
I don't think that's fair, man, because it's like Leon getting a rematch against Bilal. Like, I don't think Leon should get a rematch against Bilal because he's not held the title for long enough. You know, like, he should earn his way back up. Like, it's only reserved for like the likes of Volk and that who have like defended the title a long time. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So the fact that O'Malley can lose that title after 2 defenses, one defense that he chose as well, not even like a top contender, it's pathetic, and it just doesn't stand good stead in UFC if that play. And I don't think it stands in good stead for Marab either, because it makes it look like he's terrified of Nurmagomedov. Umar. I think it's Umar.
Yeah. But I think it goes back to what we were talking about, is the UFC picking their favorites and who they want to be a superstar. So putting him back in there.
I guarantee that Umar Nurmagomedov will sell more pay-per-views than Sean O'Malley. Like, I know that 100%. Like, I just know that, especially if it's against Marab, because you got the whole Caucasus region fucking, they all hate each other. Like, literally, Georgia and Russia was like the last big war before Russia and Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? So things are still fresh, like with the Russia-Georgians. Mate, that one will sell more than O'Malley. Like, you're doing your company a disservice if you don't do that fight. Because O'Malley won't sell more than them 2 boys from in the Caucasus regions. Like, it just won't.
Yeah, I saw a thing that was showing the highest grossing pay-per-views of all time. I don't know if you saw that, but they just recently updated it.
Oh, yeah.
The Sphere is now the 3rd highest of all time.
Yeah, don't count though that. That one doesn't count.
And that was, I think it was behind two Conor McGregor pay-per-views.
Yeah, but again, like, they'll say that as like it's Sean O'Malley. You know what I mean? But Sean O'Malley got put in the Sphere because they knew the Sphere would sell, and like the card was amazing as well. So it was like I can see what UFC were trying. If Sean O'Malley won, then they could say like he's a champion and he's got the 3rd most pay-per-views, so he is a star. But that's the thing with the UFC. They keep telling us that people are stars, but they're not. Like, we know they're not, but you guys say they are. Like, the last one we saw was McGregor. We know what a star looks like. Like, we saw it shining. We're seeing it dissipate now. Like, we're seeing it turn into a brown midget in the sky. Or is it brown dwarf, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Like,
Conor, man.
I know. He's in court, isn't he, right now?
Is he?
Yeah, alleged stuff with a
That
woman.
was, assault or something I saw.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. How the mighty have fallen.
It is sad when you see Conor's, like, how he is now and all that, and how bright he was, and now he's almost like a super villain, the way how he walks around and conducts himself. Like,
we've joked about it a few times, but like coke, like,
yeah,
that guy is a poster for don't take coke, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, literally, you can see it. It coincides with just everything in his life fucking up. Like, I mean, he's got an amazing life, but like once he started getting on that gear, once he had this little retirement from the leg break and all that, and he started taking the gear, like you could literally see like his fighting career got worse. Like he started losing in ways that you couldn't imagine, like getting knocked out because it shrunk his brain. Like, and then just the lifestyle decisions like he makes, like that mess up his marriage and stuff like that. It's so sad to see. I don't do cocaine. I know all the rich and all the posh and all the middle class all act like it's a normal drug, like because they all, not even the working class, like everyone takes it on the weekend like it's a normal thing. It's not. It's fucking crack, and you're a crackhead if you're taking it, in my opinion. And I know I look like a crackhead as I'm saying this, but trust me, cocaine is bad, mate. Like I've seen so many lives get ruined from it, and because it's so normalized, like it takes a long time for people to realize how fucked up it is.
It's the party drug, man. That's what everybody takes it just to have a good time, and they're not addicted to it. They just want to keep partying.
Oh yeah, it's so I can drink more and whatever excuse it is. Oh, it's so I can enjoy myself more and all that. But like that's an addiction, though, man. Like at the end of the day, if you have to do it every weekend, you have to do it to mix all your stuff. But
even if it's not a physiological addiction, it's a psychological one.
Yeah, that's it. And like I say, if your friend group, if your only way to spend time with your friend group is doing that with drinking, then you're not friends. None of you are friends with each other. So yeah, I just want to put that out there in case there is like someone younger or even our age that just hasn't noticed this kind of shit yet. Because I know in England, Britain, the whole party thing is so like normalized, and yet you see so many kids getting neglected at the weekends and stuff like that. Like, so yeah, public service announcement: don't drink, don't do coke.
Don't do coke.
Yeah, I'd even extend it to drinking. Like, don't drink. Like, if you're gonna do it responsibly, in a responsible environment. So where and don't plan on just drinking non-stop until you like can't do anything. Like drink until you. What I like to say is drink until you're tipsy, and then chill for a bit, and then drink again until you're tipsy again. That's my method.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like insure's fun that way.
Yeah, I haven't drank in a few months now. Not for any other reason, but I used to, like, if there was a fight on, I'd grab something to drink or whatever. But I've been choosing not to.
What's your drink of choice?
Personally, vodka, Red Bull.
Oh, that's nightmare for me. Nightmare fuel. That like vodka doesn't mix well with me. But I'm a whiskey man. I like whiskey. Yeah.
Is straight or?
Depends on the whiskey. Like if it's a good one, an expensive one, I can have it straight, like a bourbon. But like a Jack Daniels now, I'll have Coke with it just because it's a bit painty. Hello. I don't know what's happened. Let's see if I've got a message. I don't know if this is still going out live. If it is, hello. I'm just going to see if I have a message. Oh, I think my internet went down. Alright, let me try and join back.
Technical difficulties, man. I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me?
Yo, I think my Wi-Fi went. Sorry about that.
No, I don't know what the hell just happened. That was weird. My
Did yours go off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird because my Wi-Fi fully went off in my house.
How did your Wi-Fi affect my camera?
I know, yeah, that is weird.
All right, let me see this. All right, we're gonna rock with this slightly less good quality camera because my camera just went out. So
it'll be fine. But
yeah.
But yeah, I'm a whiskey man. I don't know if you heard that, but I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah.
whiskey
You said
man. And
if it's
yeah,
a
like the
bourbon, you gotta drink it
JD,
straight.
I'll mix with like Coke because it's a bit cheap tasting. But like a more expensive one, I can have neat.
Jack and Coke,
Yeah.
classic American drink right there, sir.
I don't know if probably the same, but we actually sell it in cans already mixed.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, the same out there.
I mean, yeah,
I used to like that, but
Yeah.
it is funny because when I think of whiskey, I think of Scottish people, obviously. But yeah, like my favorite ones are more American, like bourbons, to be honest.
Yeah, bourbon. So interesting story about bourbon. Maybe not interesting, but it's a story I'm going to tell anyway.
Yeah.
So my cousin was getting married, and he was getting married in Kentucky, and that's the home of Jack Daniels, the home of bourbon. Like real American bourbons come from Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
So we go up there. I'm the best man in the wedding. I meet the bride's family, whatever. The dad says, "You guys want a drink?" Absolutely. So he breaks out some bourbon, right? I hate bourbon. I hate it with a passion. I think it's disgusting. So I had a drink with me, and I kind of poured it in my drink. This man, the look on his face, like I just blasphemed.
Like offended.
Yes.
Yeah.
So offended. I'm like, this shit is horrible. So I poured my Coke in it.
That's ironic. Well, you know what's funny is when I was doing how I become aware of Helena Gloak, like when I was researching my ancestry, I also discovered that another ancestor is called Matthew Gloak, who was like my great granddad kind of thing. He invented a famous whiskey it's actually called the Famous Grouse. I don't know if it's popular in America, but it's very popular here. And yeah, that was another thing. And I was like, how is the two massively famous people in the Globe family, and I've never heard of them, and we've never been told about him. Well,
the Famous Grouse. I could buy it at Walmart right by my house, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It is like
pick it up tomorrow.
It is like a worldwide one, and I just didn't know if it would be popular enough for you to know it. But yeah, it was made by appointment of the magistrate as well. Like he was doing it for the royals and that.
That is awesome.
So yeah, my mum's Scottish ancestor. She has a lot of like a lot of cool ancestors from the Scotland ways. I'm just waiting for her to be related to some guy called Yoga Bear or something, and then I'll be buzzing, But yeah, like so every Christmas, my family will buy me grouse. It's like a family tradition. Like we all
that's
have
awesome.
Little grouse, yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, like there's a thing in Scotland called hot toddies, where it's like a hot drink that you have with whiskey, and you can get like hot toddy packs, and like we always get them at Christmas.
Yeah, I know what that is. I've had it before. Do you do it with the lemon and the honey, or how do you? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like Lucozade in a sense, like an old cure.
Yeah, right. For like cough and stuff like that, they give it to you to soothe your throat and whatnot.
Yeah, the Scottish modern equivalent is just mixing Lucozade with whiskey and then.
I don't know what that is. Lucozade.
Oh, Lucozade. You don't know what that is? See, I thought that was American. It's like Powerade. It's like Powerade. Is that a thing? Right?
Yeah.
So it's like Powerade, but it was before Powerade. So
okay.
I don't know if you guys. I generally thought it was American, so I was talking about it like it was a popular Coke. You know what I mean? Because it is to us out here. But yeah, it's like an energy drink, but it's not like Red Bull. It's not as harsh. So yeah, it's really nice. I'd recommend it if you're into energy drinks, but you don't want to be buzzing. Lucozade's the one to go to.
How do you spell
that? Lucozade.
Okay. UK's favorite soft drink brand. Lucozade.
Yeah, I'd say it probably is, man. It's nice. I've always thought it was American, man.
No, sir. Never saw that before in my life.
Oh, I need to get you
Lucozade
some sent
water?
over. Yeah,
High
I need to
caffeine
send you.
vitamin B3?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
sir.
can imagine. It's good for energy.
What do they consider high caffeine in the UK? 160
Probably,
minutes. Okay.
it's probably not going to be like
No, it's
what's high caffeine
160.
in
Yeah,
America.
yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it would
160.
be more strict with stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, we have some that are like 300 plus, but like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that does sound crazy. Yeah, we're actually making Coke now without caffeine. I don't know if they're doing it out there, but I've been thinking I might
we
try
used
that.
to.
Yeah.
We used to do a caffeine free. I don't know if they still make it.
I've never seen it until recently. But then they do caffeine and sugar free. So I'm like, what's the fucking point? Like, what you're even getting out of this drink now? It's so pointless.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, they used to do. It's limited quantities now, but yeah, they used to do a caffeine-free Coke. My grandfather, that's what he would drink.
Yeah.
He just liked the flavor.
Yeah, like, I'll try it, but I want it with sugar. Like, because if I'm cutting out the caffeine, I want the sugar. You know
Right?
what I mean?
I need something.
Yeah, I need something to balance it. Like, but yeah, so I'm gonna have to send you some Lucozade, and I'm gonna have to send you some Iron Brew.
Oh, you don't need to send me Iron Brew.
You know Iron Brew?
Yeah, the I don't know what flavors you guys carry, but like the orange and the
Yeah, that's the only flavor.
is it
Like
okay?
Iron Brew. Yeah. Like it only has that one flavor.
Okay, so maybe
What would you
that's.
describe it as?
I've never had it, but I've seen
Oh,
it.
you've not had it.
Mm.
Because no one knows how to describe the taste. Like some people say like tutti fruity. Some people would say like tropical. Other people would say like it's hard to actually say what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd try it.
Yeah, it's worth it. That is a nice drink, Iron Brew. That is a really nice one. And my ex was obsessed with it, like to the point where she'd buy crates of it. Like that's all she'd drink was Iron Brew. Like,
Is it carbonated or is it like a juice?
Yeah.
It's carbonated.
No, it's like a soda, you know.
Is it like? I mean, do you guys have Fanta?
Yeah. Just it is. It doesn't taste like Fanta, but it looks like Fanta. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like Fanta. I'd say it's a lot nicer, but yeah. But our Fanta here is horrible compared to your Fanta there because of there's something in the colouring of your Fanta, and I think it adds flavour to it. So our Fanta is yellow, yeah. So if you look at our Fanta, the liquid is yellow.
So your orange Fanta is yellow.
Yeah, it looks yellow.
Because you use actual like food to color your stuff.
Yeah.
We use chemicals.
Yeah, whereas yours is so like orange, but it tastes way nicer. Don't get me wrong. Like we actually import Fanta orange from America. Like so we pay a little bit extra just to drink your orange Fanta because it's like a little bit nicer.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, like literally, it's like a treat, mate. Like we'd go to the shop. Like when I was with my ex, we'd go to the shop, and we'll be like, "Oh yeah, we'll get some American Fanta," because I don't know. It's just we're not used to the extra things that you are allowed to put in your drinks. So when we have it, it's like crack. It's like, what the hell's this? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think even our Coca-Cola tastes different to yours. You know. So.
I'm sure because we use high fructose corn syrup, and you probably use actual sugar. So
I won't be surprised if I reckon we use that fructose bullshit as well because we have sugar tax. But yours just has a different like taste to it. Yeah,
I'm sure. We can just throw whatever we want in there.
Yeah, I was looking on I think it was QI. A lot of my weird facts come from QI, and you guys are still the biggest legal importers and exporters of cocaine because they still use cocaine in Coca-Cola, like for the flavor. Like what they do is they take out the stuff that affects your brain. Can't remember what that word is, but they take that out and they still use it for flavor in Coca-Cola.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's mad. Like you're the biggest these are the biggest importers, exporters, and producers of cocaine, like the
Hell
USA.
yeah, America.
Why not? America.
Fuck yeah. Oh man. So is that what you? Well, I mean, what is your like drink of choice? Is it
At the moment,
like,
it's Coca-Cola. Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah. At the moment, it is Coca-Cola. I used to prefer Pepsi, but it doesn't taste the same anymore. So I've gone back to Coca-Cola. So yeah. Right now it's Coca-Cola, and I'm hooked on these smoothies called Naked. Like, they're so
Oh
nice.
yeah, the naked smoothies are really
Yeah.
good.
So nice. So Naked smoothies and Coca-Cola for a nice balanced diet.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a brand here called Bolt House Farms. It's like the naked, but like way better.
Yeah.
It's really nice. But Alicia
Yeah,
used to
big on
drink them
smoothies.
religiously, man. Like every day, she'd at least have one.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm using now is energy drinks. Like instead of actual energy drinks, I'm like, let me
Trying to get the sugar intake.
try and get that out. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah,
What do
as well,
you?
coffee wise, I love a flat white. I don't know if that's. I think that might be an English thing, a flat white.
What does that mean?
So it's like how I describe it is like a cappuccino or Americano, but it has like a hint of caramel,
Okay.
like just a slight hint. It's really nice.
Yeah, we
It's
would
more
love that.
Australian English than it is like American, because I've never heard an American ask for a flat white ever in my life. So,
No, I've never heard of it. I wonder if there's something that we call it.
yeah, maybe it is like a latte or something, and we just have a different name.
Flat whites have a higher coffee to milk, making them stronger and more intense than latte. So it's a latte with more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, sure, it'd be delicious.
that's what it looks like. It's really
Oh yeah,
nice.
it looks literally just like a latte. Yeah.
So that's my go-to for coffee.
Hang
Flat
up.
white.
Fine, since we're showing off here.
Get a drink up too while he's doing that. America. Oh, yeah.
So this is the
Caffeine.
coffee. Cafe
What's this?
Bustelo.
Bustelo.
Yeah.
Oh, espresso.
Yeah.
Oh, you're mad.
That's what Alicia drinks every day.
Surprised she's not sweating. Like one time, I never had an espresso in my life.
Uh,
I was working at McDonald's, and it was New Year's Day, so I'd been up all night for New Year's Eve. So I was like, let me just have an espresso to wake myself up. Mate, I had the sweats. I went home, mate, because I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought
Heart palpitations.
I was ill. Yeah. And I was like, I've got to go home. There's something going on. I'm really ill. And I went home, didn't think much of it. And then a few days later, I did the same. I come in work tired, and I was like, oh, I'll just have an espresso. Same feeling again. And I was like, oh, it's this stuff. And I managed to get through that shift, but
Yeah.
I've not been able to touch espresso since.
Well, she'll take it with milk and sugar or cream and sugar.
Yeah. So I have it as like a normal coffee, but like spread it out a bit.
Yeah, a little thin it out. Try not to give yourself a heart attack.
Yeah.
Last one here. But for me, I don't really drink like Coke or stuff like that. I drink like a seltzer water.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're
Like,
one of
that's
them weirdos, man. Like, I don't understand seltzer people.
Why is that?
Is it soda water?
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
like tonic water or whatever.
Like who wants like I'm trying to think of the best way. It's like spiky water, isn't it?
That's
Like,
spicy water. That's what. It is.
Yeah. It's like let me have some water that just attacks my throat a bit. No, yeah, I've never been able to get down with soda water.
That's the thing. Like, I hate drinking regular water. Like, I can't do it. but throw a few bubbles in there.
Yeah, my ex is like that. She's exactly the same. She's like, she just can't have water, but if it's soda, she's all right. And I'm just like, what's the?
I think it's
found
just it's growing up, being poor and drinking soda as a child. Like
Yeah,
now I'm trying to take my health a little better, and it's a nice middle
yeah.
ground.
See,
But it's
I'm the
still water.
opposite. Like, my throat's never been good with soda. So if I get like Coke in a bottle, I'll shake it and try and get the bubbles out as much as I can beforehand. And
You are
everyone
a
thinks I'm
madman.
weird. Yeah, everyone thinks I'm weird. Like, I'll buy a bottle of Coke and I'll be shaking it. And people are like, what are you doing that for? And then I'll slowly open it so it just goes tss. And they're like, what are you doing that for? And I'll be like, I'm getting the bubbles out.
You are a madman.
Yeah, no one likes me when I do that. No one. But yeah, it's why I always put it in a glass so it can get out as much as possible. I'm not good with bubbles.
That's funny.
Yeah, sensitive throat, I think. I don't know what it is. It's like, it's just harsh.
I don't know how we got on the subject, but
Yeah, it's fun.
what do you? So you what like snacks and stuff do you like?
Oh, mate, snacks. You know what? I'll show you actually because you probably don't exist. I know Lay's exist. So I got a bunch of what you guys call Lays.
Yep.
Don't know if you guys have these though, flavors. They're like
I don't know what that is. Prawn cocktail? What the hell is that?
so you can get them in different flavors, but they're mostly cheese.
Are they?
They're like crisp, chips, I suppose. And they're really nice.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I've seen them before, actually.
My other. Now these are top tier, yeah. Monster Munch. Like they're some of the best crisp you'll find.
I've never seen that before. Did they say roast beef flavor?
Yeah, roast beef flavor, pickled onion, and flaming hot. They're so nice. So nice. But yeah, I'm a crisp man, as you can tell.
No, I do like a good chip.
What about you? What's your go-to kind of snacks and that?
I'm not a big snack guy. I'll be 100% honest with you, but when I do like some chips, and I'm gonna show you. See if you have.
Like
me. I don't have any in the store.
You're more savory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had them. Yeah, they're banging, man.
Yeah, those are my go-to if I pick up a snack.
Yeah, like you know what? They sell them in our international aisles, so we have to go to the international aisle for them. But yeah, they're nice then.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't do like sweets too often. I don't do like ice cream. I hate like frosting. It's way too sweet for me.
Same, yeah. Can't eat much chocolate. Like,
yeah.
Funnily enough, our chocolate's a lot sweeter than yours. So the USA chocolate I can eat quite a lot of, but UK chocolate I can't eat much of it because it's too sweet.
Yeah, a few years ago, I did a collab video with a guy from UK, and he told me, like, I sent him a picture of our international aisle, and he told me what to try, and it was like this little chocolate bar with like some marshmallow or something inside of it. I can't remember the name of it.
All right.
I ate that. Was so sweet, dude. Like it gave me goosebumps. I was like, this is just pure sugar. Like I don't know.
Innit? Like that's what it does to me. And people, like, I'll be around someone and I'll take a bite of a chocolate bar and then I'm like, oh, I can't have any more of this. And no one gets it. And I'm like, mate, it's literally making me sweat. It's that sweet.
Like, I mean, I can eat chocolate. I'm not against it or anything. I just, if I had to choose, I would pick something like probably saltier.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same. Like, I'd rather like when I was with my ex, like she'd get a takeaway just for dessert, just for sweet things. You know, like and I'll be more excited to get chicken wings and stuff, and she couldn't understand it. She'd be like, "How are you more excited for chicken wings than I am for like a churros or something?" And I'm like, "Because I love chicken wings. Like, it's just that simple." But you get them people, don't you, that if anything's sweet or dessert, like they're just obsessive over it, aren't they?
Yeah, Alicia likes sweets, cakes,
Yeah.
and ice creams, and
It's like a female thing, isn't it? Like,
I don't know. Marley's the same way, so I can't really say that.
No offense, Marley. It's like a female and a child thing.
But yeah, I'm more of a salty, like a chips and
well, you're not very salty today, are you? Because
no.
Trump won. Very unsalted today. I'm similar. Peanuts. Like, I love peanuts. Cashew nuts. I love nuts.
I wish I could.
Are you allergic?
Marley is definitely allergic.
No way. You'll have to. If I ever come and visit, you'll have to like pre-warn me. Make sure you've not had no nuts in your pockets, because I am. It's very
because
before I'll have tracings of it.
Before Marley was born, I mean, like that was every day, every few days. You know, peanut butter, peanuts, cashews, almonds.
Yeah,
can't have that
amazing, aren't they? Oh, I feel so sorry for you. I mean, more so for Marley because he can't even be around him. But my God. So using them guys, you have to inform planes and stuff like that before you fly.
If we go to a new place to eat, we have to ask them, you know, if they prepare their stuff with, you know, peanut oil or if it's around any cross contamination. Like, oh, there's a peanut allergy. Yeah, it's crazy. Like,
it is fun.
It's a lot to manage.
I can imagine. Like, it's almost like because you hear about it. I don't think I've ever known anyone who's actually allergic to it, but I always used to think, like, how do you avoid that? Like, when you actually know.
He eats a lot of the same stuff. Like, once you find something that works, you kind of stick to it.
Yeah. I suppose he can be more understanding as well, can't he, of, like, why he has to kind of stick to the same stuff and that.
Yeah, and like I said, if we go to a new place, we have to ask in advance, and it's just a lot. Like, if we go out, like, with other people, like, hey, you know, just FYI.
Yeah.
Like we went to, I don't know if you guys celebrate Halloween like we do here.
Yeah.
But we went to a Halloween party, and you know, they're family, but they changed like the bags of candy that they give to the kids. They don't put any chocolate or peanuts and stuff in there because Marley's allergic. So like all the kids don't get chocolate because chocolate is made in a facility that produces peanuts. Yeah. So like all the kids get salty as shit because they can't get good candy because Marley's there.
Can you imagine? Imagine he's not the most liked on Halloween, but it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest.
It's for his safety, so.
I've always looked at chocolate as like a modern thing with trick-or-treating. Like, when I was young, if I got chocolate, I'd be pissed off. Like, I want sweets, mate. I'm coming out for sweets, not chocolate. I have chocolate every day. Give me some, like, Haribo or something. You know what I was obsessed with from America? Candy corn. I know not many people like it. I know. I know it's weird, like, but I went over there and I tried it, like, because I think my cousins got a load and none of them liked it. So they were like, "Oh, do you want to try this?" Tried it and I loved it. So like, bags of it just got thrown at me because they must have had it sat around for ages.
Yeah, you were the only one that wanted it.
Yeah. And like, ever since now, if I know anyone that goes to America, I'm like, yo, bring some candy corn home for me. And like, everyone says the same as what you said. No one likes candy corn, but I'm that one guy that likes it. Yeah. I am very weird. I don't like pizza. Like, things that people universally like, I tend not to like pizza.
We just had pizza for dinner, my guy.
Yeah. Like, I'm not massive against it, but I wouldn't choose it, you know what I mean? It's not something I'd choose ever because I'm not big on tomato or cheese. So I get them barbecue-based ones, they're nice. But so I was an annoying kid where when I'd go to kid parties, like the go-to would be pizza for everyone, wouldn't it? And I'd be there, I don't like it. So yeah, I'd always be starving at kid parties.
No, I got you. I get it. Yeah. But
I mean, every time I go to a kid party, like they say, what 34-year-old man doesn't like pizza? You know.
all right, raise your hand.
It happens every week. I try
every
to
week that you go to a kid's party,
and they're like, "What 34-year-old man doesn't like pizza?" Like,
they're
it's
not
so
asking
weird.
what 34-year-old man keeps going to kid parties every week. They're asking
No,
about
for some
pizza.
reason that never gets brought up. It's the pizza thing they find weird.
It's just the
Like,
pizza.
yeah, like
You
that's why I
being
keep
here,
doing it.
acceptable.
One day, I want them to be like, "Why are you here?" But no, the pizza distracts them too much. Imagine someone could clip that and it would just be awful.
Somebody just pulled up the stream. What the fuck?
Yeah, the fact we're using pizza as well, because that's a term they use as well, isn't it? So yeah, it just makes it even worse.
Oh man. All right. Well, this is
The fact that I'm saying I turn up to kid parties saying I don't like pizza and they're all looking at me weird. In fact, I'm the only one who's not the paedophile in that scenario. when you think about it. Like Ellen DeGeneres is like, he doesn't like pizza. I tweet about it all the time.
Oh fuck, man.
That was a weird one.
That was weird.
But yeah, I mean the actual Italian food. Obviously, I don't like the other pizza. Well, but I've never tried that one. So, you know.
I feel like you're just.
I know I'm making it worse, but what I'm trying to say is, I don't like the food pizza, like
the dough with the sauce and the cheese.
Yeah, and the tomato and the cheese. And, like, that's what I don't like. And I don't like the other type as well.
That's just.
I just don't like pizza. Yeah, like, yeah, I just don't like pizza any kind.
I'm dying, man. I'm dying over here. Jeez Louise.
You know, I did start off trying to be funny with the kid party thing, and I didn't realise that pizza meant the same thing. And then, yeah, it just becomes like unintentional circle. Like Tony Hinchcliffe could never come up with something that funny. Like, he just couldn't.
There you go. Bring it back. Oh,
yeah,
geez.
Full circle. Like, I just accidentally made a joke that was better than anything Tony Hinchcliffe could ever put in his whole life. And I just did it by accident. Walked into it.
Good shit. Very good shit.
But yeah, man. Like, that is what's mad though. Is like, I can imagine how Marley feels, because I was the kid that didn't like pizza. So like, all the other kids was like, "You're annoying because my mum's not bought pizza for this party because you don't like it."
Right. Yeah. I mean, yep. Basically. Excuse me. Too much.
Yeah, I think I want to clip that fucking pizza bit. That was fucking funny thinking back about it.
Speaking of clipping, are you re-uploading that video this week? Or did you already re-upload it?
Which one?
Harry
Neville thing.
Yeah, the guy that was just fired.
Yeah, it's weird, that one. I think I am going to re-upload it because I've uploaded it twice to TikTok. It's got 0 views. So it's very strange.
It, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if it's the title. So I'm going to try a different title, see if that does it. Because I am literally attacking a massive media corporation. So maybe they have something in place where it blocks anything that's negative. Like that's all what I can think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
I went to click on it and it says video blocked. I'm like, oh great. What the hell?
Yeah.
And then I turned on my VPN. I thought maybe just in America it was blocked. So I tried a different country and it was still blocked. So
me too. And at first I thought it's just a YouTube copyright thing. And then I look on TikTok and it had no views. And I thought, that's weird. Because in my first hour, it gets at least 100, 200 views. I thought, that's very strange. So I uploaded it again. Didn't change nothing. I even kept the old video on TikTok just so I can see the difference. And it ended up with like 7 views. So it's definitely being suppressed. You know what I mean? If you look at my channel, that one's definitely not got the same kind of push as the others. So Yeah, I don't know what to do about that one. It's frustrating because as I'm doing that, I'm doing a Harry Kane one, which relies on a lot of the similar material that I'm getting from Sky Sports and stuff like that. So now I'm worried is I'm going to do this one and it's going to end up with the same result. But
And that's
I'm
a
going to do it
bigger
and see.
project, right?
What's that?
The Harry Kane one's a bigger project.
It might be. I'm not sure because, like I say, I just don't know if I want like set myself up to work that hard on something and then feel like it's just being blocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because it's just like I wouldn't mind if I was attacking him or if I was making up stuff. Like everything I say about Gary Neville and Sky Sports, I prove with facts and I prove with video and whether it's articles that they've written themselves. Like, so I basically use their own words and their own writings against them for the proof. And I think that's where I've kind of gone wrong a bit. It's because they own all that stuff. You know what I mean? So
right.
And I think the same will happen with Harry Kane because Harry Kane's such a media darling in the UK. I just don't think they'll allow anyone to look at him like, I wouldn't even say negatively, but to look at him, to actually judge him for how he is as a player rather than what we want him to be.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. Like the team he went to, you said it won a few championships before he got there and hasn't won one since.
So what's funny is Bayern Munich, the one team in Germany that's just have bought the league every year. Like, you know what I mean? They're the big team, so they win it every year. I think they won it for 13 years in a row, right? And then they bought Harry Kane. And they don't just win the league, they usually win like a cup as well and, other trophies, multiple trophies a season. Harry Kane joins them. They don't win one single trophy. So to me, it's just so obvious. Like, it's not all the other players and all the other teams and all the other managers that's the problem. It's him. He's been in so many positions like this where he can win, where everything's set up for him to win. And for whatever reason, that it doesn't win. So, yeah, to me, it's more frustration as an England fan because our media, I mean, if you watch that Gary Neville video, it's a good foresight into the Harry Kane one because I talk about Gary Neville. He's a media, like, he's a former player who's now a commentator and analysis. And a lot of it was about him being xenophobic, whether it's subconscious or conscious, I don't know. But I show loads of examples of it. And I believe this is the same with Harry Kane. It's like we can't criticise him because he's white and English. So all the black players for England all get abused whenever England don't do well. But they're usually the ones that play well. Like Raheem Sterling plays great and then gets abused for missing one penalty. But then Harry Kane just doesn't play at all. You know what I mean? Like, he's in the game, but he's just not there. He's non-existent. But yeah,
he gets a free pass.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit too snowflakey and all this, but I do think it affects the game. Like, literally, players get the house burgled and stuff like this, where it shouldn't be like that. And it's mostly because of just constant people like Gary Neville just constantly being negative about certain players. Claiming they're selfish and arrogant and all this stuff. But yeah, if an English guy does the same thing, he's a leader, so that's kind of what I'm on about in a way as well, is like how since this style of covering football has started to come about, like racism has come back about. Like in England, we used to have mad problems with racism in football and it kind of went away for a bit. And it's just come back now because it's like they feel like they can say it again, like, and people will support them if they're saying this stuff. Like literally in our last game, there was a Man United guy who's like a YouTuber called Fawkes. He's a black lad, and he's just reporting outside of Old Trafford, and a fellow United fan, a white woman, walks over to him and just shouts, "Get the N words out!" Like. Why?
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah, and so it's it's creeping back into football, and I believe that style of journalism is really helping it. But they're quite subtle with it. So unless you've got someone like me that can show you direct examples of them, how they talk about the white English guy and how they talk about the black English guy, like it's hard to notice. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Well, hopefully you can get that published without any issue. That would be good. I'd be looking forward to seeing that. Are you working on anything else, either on YouTube or off?
Well, to be honest, nah, like it's just all like the comedy stuff is fun. I've been talking about this for months, and and then Tony Hinchcliffe does that. So then I'm like, okay, now that can be added to it. And it's like every time I'm getting closer to like, yeah, let me finish this video off. A comedian will do something. So then I'm like, let me do a deep dive into this guy. This is why I was so against Tony at the start, because I've been studying Tony this week. You know what I mean? So I've been having to listen to all these shit jokes. I've been trying my best to find a good example of him being a comedian, and it's hard. It's very hard. But I've not found one yet. And you know what? That says something, because Tony probably has more content than all the comedians put together with his Kill Tony show and the amount of Joe Rogan appearances he has and stuff like that. For the fact that I found it so hard to find just a joke, just one joke, where it's like, yeah, I get it. The floating pile of rubbish is a joke, but it's not a joke. It's not a funny, creative, original joke. You know what I mean?
It's a trope, like a tired trope. That's
It's like a tweet. It's like something a Trump fan would say that isn't that funny, but the other ones will find it funny. You know what I mean? Or like a Nigel to anglicize it. A Nigel Farage fan would say about France or something, and people, oh yeah, that's funny. France is garbage. Like, I get it, but it's just not that funny in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I was very against Tony, because he did that, and I thought, well, he's part of that group that I've been focusing on, and I did talk about Tony a bit, because like a big part is contradictions with all these guys, free speech, all this stuff. Well, Tony, you're a closeted gamer, like, you know, I thought you were this bold, out there, I don't give a fuck personality, but you're scared to live your own truth. Like, you're very clearly a woman in a man's body. Just come out and do it. Like, no one's gonna judge you. Like, I'm not saying this from a judgmental way. Like, I know Syde's laughing. I'm not saying it as a joke. I'm saying it as all your buddies might look at you different when you start wearing your dress and that, but we won't. We'll accept you. You'll be fine. Just be a bit more funny.
Be a bit more funny. Love it.
Yeah, just be a bit more funny, man. Like, and you can live your best life. Like,
you lots of drag. Truth.
Yeah, like Manchester has a gay village. We have a whole village that you can come and live and be your own self. You won't get judged. It's called Canal Street, and sometimes we take the C off just to make us feel more comfortable.
That's great. You know what he can do when he goes
that C has to get painted back on it at least once a week.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What he could do whenever he goes to Canal Street.
Yeah.
He could fuck Michael Chandler.
Yeah. Well, do you know what's funny, right?
Oh man.
While both Tom Hinchcliffe. If you want to go, just tell me and I'll stop going. Like, I don't want to keep you.
Yeah.
But since I've studied both Tom Segura and Hinchcliffe, yeah, they're both rumored to be murderers. Like, people are actually theorizing that they're both serial killers, right, in Texas. Right, that's not what my video is about, but this is what I've seen as I've been studying it. And I am going to lean into it a bit with Tom Segura, because he's done this to another famous person. Like, assume that they're serial killers and had a whole campaign. So I find it funny now this is happening to Tom. You know what I mean? Yeah. But same with Hinchcliffe, the same serial killer is active around Tony Hinchcliffe's apartments in Texas, and it's active around Joe Rogan's comedy club where he hosts Kill Tony. And what's funny is, in Canal Street, there's been a famous serial killer for a long time, or a lot of gay guys have been dying in the canal. People think they've been getting pushed. So I think Tony could actually just carry on what he's doing in Texas, and he'll fit right in, because the type of people that guy's targeting Texas is like hookers and gay guys, like people that police aren't going to investigate as much. Like they should do. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but that's why they target those people. So yeah, come to Manchester, Tony. You can come to the gay village and you can carry on pushing gays in the canals, like, because you're so, because after you've shagged the guy, I get it. You feel so like,
you gotta hide the evidence, right?
Yeah, and you're so ashamed of yourself that you have to lash out. And like the only way you can get this out is standing in front of a stage, in front of random strangers, and pointing out all the things that you think is wrong about them. So I understand it. I understand your psychology and everything. But just come out, Tony, please. You're a lovely woman. You're a beautiful woman.
Oh, man.
Did you know as well? Sorry.
No, you're
good. Tell me to fuck off, right? But I'm on one. Did you know he's been making up stories about how his dad was in the mafia and how his dad got a teacher whacked and all this because some teacher, like, got him done in school when he was a student. Like, he's so desperate to paint this personality that he's come from this tough mafia. Like, he says that the neighborhood he comes from is worse than Compton. He says it's worse than all the bad ones that even I know about, because they're that bad even an English guy knows about it. He says his neighborhood, wherever he grew up, I think Boston or something, is like worse than Compton and all this. And it's just hilarious. Like, I get it, Tony. You want us all to see that you're a big, tough man. But the reality is, you're a small teenage lady. And we can accept it. We see it. Like, there's a lot of people that saw Mr. Beast for what he was before it all come out. We can all see the feminine ways behind you. Like, we all see, like, your whole comedy is like your teenage angst getting out. Like that, all that, what's it called now? The female estrogen. Estrogen, that's it. Like, I can feel it. I can see it on the stage leaving your body. It must be hard being a man who has to be around Joe Rogan and Texas people, who's a female on the inside and storing up a lot of estrogen. Like, it must be really hard. Like, it's why John Jones has all these problems, because he's took steroids to the point where he's a eunuch. So he lashes out, So we get it. We get it, Tony. Just stop killing the gays in Texas and just come out.
Oh, you are on one, man. You are on.
If you want to be mean and you want to target people, that's how you do it. Yeah, you don't just, Puerto Rico's trash. Like, go in depth, Tony. You got to go into depth.
Like, he goes into depth all the time, according to you.
Study the character, yeah, and observe what makes him uncomfortable. Like, when Shane Gillis goes on and always makes gay jokes about him, like, I see it. I see the truth. Like, there's some truth seers out there, Tony. And I just want you to live your best life. Like, I think your eyes will really match a red dress. Like, and I know you've tried it. And I know you prance around your little studio apartment with your high heels and your red dress. And, like, you probably like pretending to vote for Kamala because it's so wrong to do, like, in your world. Like, it's okay, Tony. You will look nice. Like, I know you shave your legs every day so you can feel the softness and you can feel the femininity. Like, and I know, like, that's why you have a clean shaved face, so you can just easily put the dress on and the wig and get into it. It's all right, Tony. Like, we will accept you. We're very accepting. We're not like the side you're catering to. We will accept you, mate. You're still on mute.
Oh man, that was great. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna go to bed a very happy person.
Yeah. Sorry, like to like.
Oh no, that was
I don't
awesome.
want people to think, oh, I'm a snowflake, and it's just because he did that Puerto Rico joke. Like, it would have triggered this kind of response, yeah? It would have anyway. But it's not because, oh, I can't deal with it. It's because don't pretend to be a comedian and just take the easy route like that. Like,
The floating pile of trash.
yeah. Like, again, a lot of guests on his show take the easy route with Tony, just call him gay. I wanted to go more. I know he's not gay. I know he's more than just gay.
It's
But I know he is a woman. Like, he is a teenage girl that's just waiting to get out. Like, I see it in all your mannerisms and everything. Like, it's hard to hide. Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
You know, that's the only reason I wanted Trump to lose, was just so I could blame it all. So
Blame it
everyone
all on
could
him.
blame it on him. Like, I thought that would have been. I'm kind of annoyed that Trump's won now because, like, Tom's gonna have this like victory lap where he thinks he's responsible for it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When really he was like, he hindered it a bit. Like, he made it a little bit harder than it should have been. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Fuck you, Tony Hinchcliffe. I'm going to get Michael Chandler to adopt you when you come out.
There you go.
Yeah. Like, when you come out of the closet, I'm going to get Michael Chandler to adopt you and raise you as a proper man. Pull you up by your... What's the woman equivalent of bootstraps?
Heel. I don't know. I got nothing.
Pull you up by your heel.
Yeah, heels.
Yeah. Pull you up by your fishnets. Yeah.
There you
Pull
go.
yourself
There you
up by your fishnets, Tony.
Beautiful.
He definitely wears fishnets under all his pants.
All right. Thanks for that. All right. Have a good night.
Yeah,
Man.
See you later, Tony.
Bye, Tony. And
Tony is definitely going to watch this, you know. It's like, he's definitely got something that alerts him whenever his name's mentioned. He's going to see this. See you later, Tony.
Bye, Tony. Bye.
Bye.